Smile about.
Presents Game 1, the American League Championship Series. Tonight from Memorial Stadium, it's the California Angels and the Baltimore Orioles. Tonight's game is brought to you by the American Express card. Don't leave home without it. By light beer, everything you always wanted in a beer and less. By the newest member of Gillette's All-Star team, Foamy Tropical Coconut Shave Cream. Every shave is like a trip to the tropics. By Chrysler Corporation. See the mileage makers at your Dodge or Chrysler Plymouth dealers. The address, 33rd and Ellerslie, Memorial Stadium, Baltimore, Maryland. Sellout crowd, 50,000 fans on a 70-degree night for Game 1 of the American League Championship Series that matches the pitching-rich Baltimore Orioles against the top-scoring team in the majors, the California Angels. Hello, everyone. Dick Enberg here. Welcome to Game 1 of the American League Championship Series that does indeed match the East against the West. And as it should be in a classic confrontation, good pitching against good hitting. The Orioles got here by way of the arm. 3.28 team ERA. That was a half a run better than the second best pitching staff in the American League. Meanwhile, the Angels scored more runs than any ball club in the major leagues. Pleased to have with us, and you've enjoyed throughout the course of this baseball year on Saturdays and a couple of World Series, 6 gold gloves back in the trophy case. Wes Parker, and Wes, when they talk of the gold team in this series, everyone likes the Baltimore Orioles.
Baltimore looks awful tough, Dick, and they just don't make mistakes. They're so good fundamentally. It's going to be a real tough job for the Angels. They've got Nolan Ryan going tonight. He has to turn in at least one great performance, probably two, if the Angels are going to win this series. They also have Don Baylor, Bobby Grich. They're two leaders throughout the series. They played for Baltimore. They know this park. They know what it's like to be under this kind of pressure. These two guys can help them to win. I think Bobby Grich is really ready to have an outstanding series.
Joining us with his expert comments and also his effervescence, the now manager of the Detroit Tigers, and of course it seemed like he was around on television with his series every fall with the Cincinnati Reds, George Sparky Anderson. How do you see it?
Well, I see it this way, Dick. Baltimore's got an outstanding ball club. There's no question. I agree with Wes. California has to get a good game from Ryan. The two players on the Baltimore club, which I was really impressed with, is the first baseman, Eddie Murray. Great defensive player, a great power from both sides, and the right fielder, Ken Singleton. He just had a great year all around. I think he's going to be real strong in the MVP battling for the American League.
All right, the names and the faces that will be focused upon during the course of this series then. Offensively for the California Angels, Don Baylor. He led the major leagues in RBIs with 139. Bobby Grich, his best season ever, 30 home runs. And the two switch hitters in the middle of the Oriole lineup, Eddie Murray, Ken Singleton. Between them, they had 60 home runs and 208 RBIs. And of course, then there's the pitching, and we'll be talking a lot about Baltimore there. But as Brian told you earlier, in Ryan and in Palmer, these two men have struck out nearly 5,000 batters in the big leagues between them, and they have nearly 400 victories. And their supporting cast, well, for that, let's meet the starting lineups and the voice of Memorial Stadium, ex-Brooklyn Dodger right-hander Rex Barney.
Let's meet the members of the 1999 American League Western Division champion California Angels. Here are the members of the starting lineup. In center field, number 3, a Gold Glove winner last season, Rick Miller. At third base, number 12, brilliant young infielder, Carney Lansford. One of the newer Rangers, who was red hot down the stretch in right field, number 15, Dan Ford. The Major League's leading RBI man, tonight's designated hitter, number 25, Don Baylor. Batting fifth, a 7-time American League batting champion at first base, number 29, Rod Carew. One of the league's leading hitters this year, Behind the plate, number 5, Brian Downing. At second base, an old Oriole favorite who made a great comeback this year, number 4, Bobby Gritch. In left field, another old Oriole favorite, number 20, Larry Harlow. At shortstop, in his first full season, number 14, Jim Anderson. And warming up in the bullpen, a man who set a host of strikeout records, the Angels pitcher, number 30, Nolan Ryan. And here's the remainder of the Angels squad.
Obviously a partisan crowd here at Memorial Stadium. And you've heard the boos, and after they introduce the rest of the Angels, you're going to hear a lot of noise for the men in the orange and black, their beloved Orioles. You see Willie Aikens on crutches, a man who had knee surgery for the Angels 2 weeks before the end of the season. His bat will be missed.
Number 1, Bobby Knopp. Number 27, Darren Johnson. Number 49, Bob Clear. Number 50, Jimmy Reese.
Babe Ruth's former roommate. He's 74 years young, Jimmy Reese.
Number 51, Larry Sherry in the bullpen. Trainers, Ned Burkert and Rick Smith. Number 8, Merv Rettenman. Number 17, Dave LaRoche. Number 19, Bert Capaneris. Willie Aikens on the disabled list. Number 23, Tom Donahue. Number 24, Willie Davis. Number 26, Joe Rudy.
Also on the disabled
list. Number 31, Dickie Thon. Number 32, Bob Clark. Number 33, Jim Barr.
Will not be able to pitch in the series, Barr.
Mike Barlow. Number 37, Dave Frost. Number 38, Mark Clear. Number 39, John Montague. Number 40, Frank Tanana. Number 42, Chris Knapp. Number 46, Don Ossie. And manager of the California Angels, number 11, Jim Fregosi.
Now they're on their feet for the introduction of the Baltimore Orioles.
Baltimore Orioles. In center field, the leadoff man who made the great comeback from injuries, number 1, Al Humbry. Batting second, one of the all-time great defensive shortstops, number 7, Mark Belanger. In right field, two-time Oriole MVP and one of the stars of this season, number 29, Ken Singleton. At first base, the Orioles rookie of 77 and a star of 79, the Iron Man, number 33, Eddie Murray.
Murray, the Iron Man, hasn't missed but one game in 3 years.
That valuable veteran, number 18, Pat Kelly. One of the outstanding designated hitters. Batting sixth, number 14, Lee May.
344 home runs lifetime.
Baseman, number 11, Doug DeCintre. Batting eighth, this man set all-time defensive record for second baseman in 1978, number 25, Rich Dower. Batting ninth, the Orioles' scrappy workhorse catcher, number 24, Rick Dempsey. And warming up in the bullpen, the Orioles' eight-time 20-game winner, rebounding from a season of injuries, number 22, Jim Palmer. And here's the remainder of the Orioles squad.
Oh, it has to give the players shivers when they hear that kind of vocal support. And perhaps in contrast to the rather quiet crowds in Cincinnati the last 2 days, you're going to hear noise upon noise here and in California for games 3 and 4 and 5 if necessary.
Number 31, Ray Miller. Number 41, Jim Fry. Number 44, Elrod Hendricks in the bullpen. Number 47, Cal Ripken. Trainer, Ralph Salvam. Number 2, Billy Smith. Number 3, Kiku Garcia. Number 8, Dave Skaggs. Number 10, Terry Crowley. Number 16, Scott McGregor. Number 23, Tippy Martinez. Number 26, Don Stenhouse. Number 27, Benny Ayala. Number 30, Dennis Martinez. Number 32, Steve Stone. Number 35, Gary Reneke. Number 38, John Lowenstein. Number 46, Mike Flanagan. Number 49, Tim Stoddard. Number 53, Sammy Stewart. Number 59, Dave Ford. And the Orioles manager, number 4, Earl Weaver.
The Bulldogs skipper, Earl Weaver, age 49, in his 6th American League Championship Series. He's won 3 pennants and 1 World Series. He may not be loved elsewhere, but there's a real romance going on here at Memorial Stadium between these 50,000 who represent the city of Baltimore and Earl Weaver.
And now we all rise as the Morgan State Color Guard presents our colors, and we honor America as the Morgan State Choir sings our national anthem.
Oh, the state on you.
began in early April. These two teams earned the right in a 5-game series. Winner goes to the World Series. We'll be back with the first pitch in just a moment.
Gentlemen, tonight we're brought together here by two teams we all love. Good food and light beer from Miller. I want to take this opportunity myself to tell you, I don't get no respect.
Gaston, je dis saignant. Si elle est pas saignante, what is it?
Meatloaf sandwich and a light.
Gentlemen, we all know and appreciate, light has 1/3 less calories than a regular beer, and it's less filling.
But the best thing is, it tastes great.
Less filling. Gentlemen.
Hey, Deacon, pass the roll. Hey, Charlie, that's my beer.
No, this is by your brother.
This is my broccoli.
That's my beer.
What's wrong with you guys?
Hey, Bubba, you want the bees?
You gonna eat all that?
Just showing off.
Gentlemen, in closing, I'd like to think I speak for all of us when I say if it wasn't for light, I wouldn't be where I am today.
Hey, you're profound.
Light beer from Miller. Everything you always wanted in a beer, and less.
Chrysler announces the truck and van rebate countdown. Get a Plymouth Trail Duster, Dodge van, Ram Charger, or a full-size pickup and get a $400 check to go with it. But put it in gear. The countdown is on. Chrysler has given dealers the biggest cash incentives in Chrysler's history. Big discounts they can pass on to you. But hurry, the countdown is on. Get a great deal and a $400 check. The countdown is on.
Cards being exchanged. Frank Robinson, coach of the Orioles. Manager Jim Pagochi brings the card for the Angels as the Orioles take the field. Let's set them defensively, Wes.
Out in right field, Dick, for the Orioles, their MVP candidate, Kenny Singleton, has had a super year. Al Bumbry in center field, coming off a leg injury of last year, a great comeback here. Out in left field, Pat Kelly, playing instead of Gary Renicky. Pat Kelly, a .305 batting average against Nolan Ryan. The shortstop, Mark Belanger, 7 Gold Gloves. Doug DeSenses, the third baseman. Richie Dower out of USC over at second base, and Eddie Murray, who a lot of people are going to hear about now at first base. The catcher, Rick Dempsey, a good, tough competitor, and the pitcher, I'm sure everybody knows this guy, Jim Palmer, winner of 3 Cy Young Awards, has pitched a no-hitter, 215 wins, 116 losses, a lifetime ERA at 2.63.
All right, before we talk about Palmer, Sparky Anderson, the field with a football game played on Sunday by the Colts and heavy rains Monday and Tuesday is in spots could be a factor in this game, and we should point that out at the moment.
It sure can, Dick. There's no question that in right and left field both, you can tell the wear and tear from the football. Also, their infield. The ball is coming off in batting practice really like a gun. The ball is coming off extremely fast, but the Anaheim Ball Club will like it, the California Angels, because their infield's very fast.
Jim Palmer, the angular right-hander, 33 years of age. There are his statistics. He's had shoulder and elbow problems this year. That accounts for the fact he has only 16 decisions. Earned run average a little higher than normal as well, 3.30. And Sparky, do you feel that Earl Weaver is asking this man to go 6 or 7 good ones, or should we look for him after 9?
I feel Earl's just asked him to go about 6, Dick, and also Earl's going to be watching very closely the first 2 innings on his velocity on that gun, because Earl really checks the gun.
Wes Parker as a hitter. How does Palmer look from 60 feet 6?
His best pitch, Dick, is undoubtedly his fastball. He's got a good rise on the ball. Even if he's not throwing real hard, that ball will still rise. When he's right, he should get pop-ups and strikeouts and fly balls with the fastball. He's also got an outstanding slow curve, which will break down around the hitter's knees, and he's got a hard slider. He can come at you a lot of different ways. He has good control, outstanding competitor.
21-8 lifetime against the Angels, and we're underway. Rick Miller, his best year in the majors this season, hitting .293, and finished with an 11-game hitting streak. Hits the ball to left field. Palmer 7 wins and 2 losses in championship play. 4-1 in the series, American League Series, and 3-1 in the World Series. That'll be a souvenir, and Palmer in front, 1-2. The Orioles have been in the championship series 6 of the last 13 years. The Angels making it to the Final Four, first time in their 19-year history. Boy, you can just see, Sparky, that every player at every position, they're just itching to have one hit at them. They want to get in the game.
They want to get that first one.
That big, tantalizing, slow curveball of Palmer is 2-2. That'll be upstairs.
Another thing about Palmer is he will not tip off his pitches. You'll see he has the same fluid delivery on every pitch, and you just won't see him more fluid motion than he has.
Eddie Murray to Palmer, 1 away. Murray, a highly underrated defensive player.
I tell you right now, Dick, he's the best defensive first baseman in baseball. There's a fellow Spencer over at New York with the Yankees, outstanding, but this Murray is, to me, has more range than any first baseman in baseball.
And like all the good ones, he makes it look so easy.
When you're good, Dick, it is easy.
Well, Wes Parker has 6 of those trophies, and he too. They make the tough ones look easy. There's the mark of the great ones. Carney Lansford, who has been a fine defensive third baseman and a solid hitter all year for the Yankees. At his home run total up to 19 this year in his second season, just 23 from San Jose, California. One ball, one strike. One and two. Again, Palmer up with that fastball into the letters. Looks like a strike, West, until you take a cut at it, and then it's around your ears.
That ball starts in and looks like it's around letter high, but by the time it gets to it, it'll be up around your chin, maybe even your eyes. It's so hard to lay off of it because you think it's going to be a strike.
Palmer went to the slow curve, 1-2 to Miller.
Dick, if you look at the center field, you can see they're going to try to pitch Langford away. It looks like the whole series. They got Lumber shifted all the way around to right center. Give him the whole left center field gap.
Lumber looks like he's out there ready to take the kickoff. He's down at the goal line in the football layout.
He can go get him, too.
High fastball, and Palmer has his first strikeout.
He's so deceptively fast, you just can't believe that ball gets on you that quick, but it does.
2 away. Right fielder Dan Ford, the hitter. Palmer, 225 major league wins, and he's a young 33, a great athlete. He's also won the Golden Glove Award the last 3 years. You watch him in batting practice, he loves to roam the outfield, and he can go get the ball with most outfielders. Ford, with that unusual closed stance, had his best numbers as a big leaguer, 21 home runs, 101 RBIs. They give him the left field corner. He's a right field hitter. They play him as if he were a left-handed pull hitter. He's throwing hard, isn't he, Sparky?
He's throwing extremely hard. We faced him, about 3 weeks ago, Dick. He wasn't throwing anything like this. He's ready. The old pro's ready tonight.
Well, if he didn't have the adrenaline flowing when he came in from the bullpen and heard 50,000 people screaming their support, he had to be walking right out of his spikes. 1-2 to Ford, and Palmer just rearing back and throwing the ball by the Angels in this first inning.
It's something, Dick. We're going to see the same thing with Nolan Ryan. Both these pitchers can pitch with their fastball up high, and yet every pitching coach will tell you keep the fastball down low, but not these two guys. They just throw so well up there, and their ball is so alive.
Crowd chanting for a strikeout.
Dick, nobody should ever question Earl Weaver. He knew what he was doing when he sent Mr. Palmer out there tonight.
1-2 to Dan Ford. 2 outs, no one on. That's a little purpose pitch. Now, what do you think he'll give him 2-2? Something away?
I think he's going to try to strike him out with his fastball right on the outside part of the plate.
Looking from the right field corner. In at the action. It is a beautiful night in Baltimore. Hit to left center field. Al Bunbury on his horse. Touch them all. Dan Ford, home run. The Angels jump in front, 1-0, as Ford does something he rarely does. Pulled the ball the next time.
He got that ball right in the middle of the plate. He didn't get it on the outside, and he didn't get it in, and he got it up, and that's what happens to those kind of pitches.
That's a big hit for them, Dick. That'll kind of loosen things up. You never know. A team starting in their first playoff series, they could be a little jittery, but this ball, a home run right here, that helps. He hit it good.
He hit it so good he fell down.
He could have gone around on all fours, too. Don Baylor, the major league leader in RBIs and runs scored. 120 runs to go with those 139 RBIs. What a year for Baylor. High fly center field. Al Bunbury puts it away. A run on Ford's home run. No one left. Half inning. Angels won. The Orioles against Nolan Ryan are coming to bat.
Those magnificent men and their flying machines.
Now, when you wanted a bank, just move this nice and easy, and she'll come in just like a bird for you.
Gotcha, Dad.
Okay, let's take her up.
Those magnificent men and their flying machines, they go up into the big blue sky.
Some guys just can't get enough of flying.
Call me when you get there.
Even when they fly for a living. Call them dedicated, call them perfectionists. In the friendly skies, we call them captains.
Okay, let's take her up.
Those magnificent men and their flying machines, they go up into the friendly skies. Fly the friendly skies.
Dan Ford, the right fielder, has given Nolan Ryan a 1-0 lead to work with. Here's the rest of the Angel defense.
Rick Miller of the Gold Glove will be in center field. Good defensive outfielder. Larry Harlow, former Baltimore Oriole, played a lot of center field here last year. He's in left field. At shortstop, the rookie, Jimmy Anderson, in his first playoff series. Carney Lansford in his second year, also playing his first playoff series. Bobby Gritch over at second base. He played in a couple with Baltimore. And over at first, Rod Carew, who's finally getting his wish. He's in a championship series. The catcher, Brian Downing, who had such a sensational year this year, and the pitcher, Nolan Ryan, and he's the man that has to do it if the Angels are to have a chance in this series. Outstanding credentials, 4 no-hitters, and Noli will be throwing a lot of heat. Great fastball, as everyone knows. He's got a pretty good curveball. His problem throughout his career has been control. If he has any kind of control, he could pitch a whale of a ball game.
There's Ryan's record for 1979, 16-14, but I'd like to remind you that when he had that elbow injury in New York in July, at that time he was 12-6, so he finished 4-8. He feels he's as close to 100% as he has been since the injury. Strikeouts, again, the American League strikeout champion, 7 out of the last 8 years. The only time he's not won it, he left the season at mid-year with an elbow problem, and Frank Tanana won the strikeout championship. He is only 91 strikeouts away from 3,000 in his career. He's obviously a power pitcher, but as Wes Parker has indicated, he has hurt himself with wildness. He has often walked men and they become runs.
Dick, I don't believe he's ever pitched a game in his career, 9 innings, where he did not walk at least one man.
Has not ever in his big league career. Al Bumbry, the Bumblebee from Virginia State Petersburg, where he lettered in basketball for 4 years. The happy man, he's the man the Angels want to keep off the base. He's their best base runner. 285 for Bumbry this year, coming back from that ankle fracture of 1978. Bumbry knows about pressure. He was a platoon leader in Vietnam. The Ryan Express, a ball and a strike.
You can see right there with a good fastball, the same thing happened as when Palmer's pitching, the hitter swinging under that fastball. The tendency will be to pop it up or hit a fly ball.
2-1. Ryan, 32 years of age, from Alvin, Texas, small community outside of Houston. Has a little ranch there, some cattle. Two balls, 2 strikes. Ryan, a Jekyll and Hyde pitcher. At home, he is almost unbeatable, and that was true again this year. 12-4 at home, 2.45 ERA. On the road, not so good. 4 wins, 10 losses, 5.38 ERA. 3-2. There's the statistic that caused some to wonder whether Jim Fregosi would pitch Ryan to open the series, along with the fact he doesn't pitch as well on the road as at home. Ryan has his first strikeout. I guess that's the way it should be if you're going to write your own book. Strikeout pitcher, get the first man.
I'll tell you, Dick, he's showing mortal heat up there right now.
He's got a lot of movement on that ball, too, Sparky. I didn't think that pitch was a strike, but it probably looked like a strike when it came in there.
It looked like a strike, only it had that little jump of about 3 inches.
Mark Belanger has just had a horrendous year with a bat, 167. But he is so outstanding with a glove, you keep him in the lineup. Against Ryan, he's had incredible success. Lifetime hitting .295 against Ryan. Earl Weaver takes note of such statistics, and he'll have Belanger in there every time Ryan pitches. That's a first breaking ball. Since the injury, check number 4, Earl Weaver studying the action from that third base dugout. Since the injury, Ryan's fastball has come back, but he hasn't had that good crackling curveball that he possessed before the arm problems. That'll be into the crowd down the right field line. Jim Fregosi, 37 years of age. He's still the all-time Angel home run and RBI leader, but Baylor will erase his name next year. Done a great job in his first full season. You think he isn't a little nervous? He's just trying to keep those fingers from going in the mouth.
Well, you have to be nervous, Dick. The playoff is the biggest thing of all. People don't realize how much pressure is on the playoffs.
Almost more here than the World Series, some say.
It's more than the World Series.
the outside corner, and Ryan opens with strikeouts of Bunbury and Belanger. And now the two men that Sparky Anderson talked about. Both are switching. This man had his best year ever, Ken Singleton, and he is followed by Eddie Murray. Singleton, much better hitter, left-handed, .313 this year than right-handed, .248. It all adds up to that number, 295, 35 big ones, and 111 RBIs.
When you say this was his best year, you're really saying something, because he's had a lot of them in a row. He's led the Orioles in hitting 4 years straight.
And he has an excellent eye. Walked more than any American League hitter other than Darrell Porter, the Kansas City Royals catcher. He walked 109 times this year. Now his on-base percentage over 400. 1-1.
You know, Dick, it isn't fair. Now, you talked to Ryan's curveball isn't as good right now because since the injury. It isn't fair, though. You want him to have the good hook to go with that heater?
Yeah, all the hitters say the same thing. There is no way you can be ready for the curveball.
No chance.
Play a good cut by Singleton, just a little late on the trigger, and it's 1-2.
Well, Wes, you could pop that. You'd pull that like nothing, wouldn't you?
No. I think Nolan Ryan is one of the few pitchers, if indeed he is one, who might possibly be able to pitch a 9-inning game without even using a curveball and still beat a club.
Well,
there aren't too many like that.
He throws so hard.
Well, you played with one.
Sandy Koufax was definitely one who could do it. It's very rare.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Ryan trying to strike out the side in the first inning. 1-0 Angels. Got him with a curveball. So Ryan strikes out Bunbury, Belanger, and Singleton. And for Angel fans, they hope that's a portent. Dan Ford's home run has given the Angels an early 1-0 lead.
Antifreeze. You never think about it, or how it has to protect somebody beside you, or what could happen without antifreeze. Stranded in freezing weather and no help for miles. Don't trust your luck. Don't trust the weather. Take out old, weak antifreeze now and put your trust in Prestone too. More people trust Prestone than all other brands combined.
I've been worried about you.
More people trust Prestone. And when you flush your cooling system, trust Prestone Super Flush.
There is a company that gives you automatic one-button microwave cooking. This company gives you AM/FM weather band plus a clock, radio, and television all in one set. This company gives you an incredibly dramatic 5-foot diagonal TV picture. This company gives you portable videotape to go. Who do you think this company is? We're building our reputation on one great idea after another, after another, after another.
Ladies and gentlemen, start your engines. Ladies and gentlemen, protect your engines. The same way 31 out of 35 of this year's Indy 500 drivers do in their everyday driving with Valvoline motor oil. Because stop-and-go driving can punish your engine as much as 500 miles of speedway driving can punish an IndyCar's engine. And Valvoline can take the heat, protects your engine, helps make it last. Ladies and gentlemen, protect your engines with Valvoline. It's not just for winning races.
Top of the second inning. Angels 1, the Orioles nothing. Memorial Stadium, if you pull the ball, you can get a fairly easy home run. It's 309 down the lines, but where Dan Ford hit his, 385 in the power alleys, and that's a long 385. 405 is straightaway center. It's a pitcher's park if you can keep the ball center fielder in the alleys.
Well, a guy like Ryan is going to keep you definitely from pulling the ball. I don't believe anybody on either right or left side is going to pull him, Dick, and the same thing with Palmer.
Rod Carew, he had a bad year, 318. And not a man, hardly a man of baseball wouldn't take that kind of bad year.
We were joking the last week of the season over at our ball club, Dick, and we said, you know, isn't it terrible when a man hits 320, 318, he had an off year.
And there's good reason for it. On June 1st, Carew, in trying to make a tag at first base, injured the thumb on his glove hand, that top hand. And he can't swing it. Foul ball, foul ball. He, as you saw there, almost is swinging one-handed. So one-handed, Carew was a .318 hitter.
He's had to let go of the bat a lot. This was a heck of a pitch anyway. But Rod just gets a piece of it. A good hitter will do that. He'll try to foul off the pitcher's pitch and then get one of his own. But Rod is fighting a sore hand right now. He can still swing, though.
Here again, a one-handed swing. You saw the bandage on the bottom hand. That's just to support the wrist. But the injury that's really bothered him has been the thumb of the top hand. And when you rotate that bat through the swing, he has to let go because it hurts. It pinches that top thumb, all the pressure against it. There's some of the injuries suffered by the Angels this year. Rich Dower. Carew out second to first.
Dick, the thing that I admire about Carew, though, I talked to him yesterday, he never complains or cries about anything. And, you know, here's a man that's getting all that money to play, and people say, oh, that's all they think about. This guy has so much pride. He doesn't care about the money. It's the game of baseball. He never complains about anything.
Forget how great Carew is. In the last 10 years prior to this one, he hit .344 for the 10 years. That's a pretty good decade. The batter is Brian Downing, the top right-handed hitter in the American League this year at .326. Only Lynn and Brett had better marks. And that is, if there's a Cinderella story in this series, it's the man with the number 5 on his back, Brian Downing. Foul ball, and it's 0-2.
He worked so hard this winter lifting weights, hitting in a batting cage which he built in his own backyard to make himself a better ball player. It's really paid off. He told me he's lost most of the weight that he gained at the start of the year, and what he'll do next year is lift weights throughout the season. He didn't do that this year.
0-2. Oh, the scoreboard now corrects it to 1-1. The story on Downing is in high school, he hit .240. In junior college, he barely made the squad and had 3 at-bats all year, got 1 hit. Was not drafted, obviously. He has made himself a major league player, and now with a .246 lifetime average, he finishes this year 3rd best in the league. One hopper to the sensei, 2 away.
You know, Dick, when I first saw his stance, the first time I seen him, I thought he was joking. But what he's doing there, he gets set, and that's to keep that shoulder in, and he tries to drive in now to keep that front shoulder in.
We pause briefly from Baltimore for station identification. This is the NBC television network. Memorial Stadium in Baltimore on a 70-degree night, 1-0. The Angels on Dan Ford's first inning home run. 2 gone, no one on second inning. Dick Enberg with Wes Parker, Sparky Anderson. Game 1 of the American League Series. Bobby Grich coming home to Baltimore with his best season ever. 30 home runs, 101 runs batted in. Had a 3-run homer on the final day to get his 30th and climb over the century mark, and Palmer jumps in front, 0-2.
Boy, that curve almost goes up to the sky and just drops down into that strike zone. It's amazing he can even control that pitch.
One and 2. Rich's power is to right field. 30 home runs, 20 were hit to right. And that's how they play him. That's a looper to Dower. Soft line drive out, and Palmer works an easy 1-2-3 second inning. Middle of the second in Baltimore. Angels 1, Orioles 0.
Ram power. Dodge gives you Ram power.
Now Dodge pickups go beyond tough. They're Ram tough. The biggest maximum payloads. More than Ford or Chevy. The most brute power with its most fuel-efficient V8. And with optional 3-speed automatic. The best mileage ratings, too. More than Ford or Chevy. Now,
Dodge trucks are Ram tough.
For generations in the tropics, they have known of the naturally soothing qualities of the coconut. Now Foamy introduces new tropical coconut shave cream, soothing and softening with the light, fresh smell of coconut. New Foamy tropical coconut shave cream is so different from what you're using now, you may never want to go back. New Foamy tropical coconut shave cream from Gillette.
Oh. Opticians. Let's see now.
There's a lot more information in the yellow pages than meets the eye.
Glasses repaired in 1 hour.
You'll see just how fast you can get just about anything fixed.
Gerard!
When you need to know who, what, where, when, and why, let your fingers do the walking through the Bell System yellow pages.
Hi, I'm Brian Gumbel. The United Nations has proclaimed 1979 the International Year of the Child. NBC Sports proudly joins in the celebration saluting the children of the world.
Eddie Murray, Pat Kelly, and Lee May will hit against Nolan Ryan in the last of the second inning. 1-0 Angels. Now the National League Championship Series, 2 outstanding ball games, and the Pittsburgh Pirates in extra innings won them both. 5-2 last night, and then 3-2 in 10 innings this afternoon. So they go home to Three River Stadium with a 2-0 lead. Eddie Murray, in his 3 years in the big leagues, this 23-year-old from Los Angeles has hit 27, 27, and 25 home runs.
He's very consistent, Dick. Plays almost every game every year. He's hit 283, 285, 295 in his 3 years. Quite a ball player.
How did you pitch him with your Detroit Tigers staff?
You try to give him all speed stuff, Dick, because I'll tell you right now, if anybody will hit this fastball, this man will. He can turn a fastball around, especially out away from either side.
Ryan keeping the ball away and falls behind 2-0.
What's really amazing about Eddie Murray is the fact that he didn't start switch hitting until the end of 1975.
3-0. Ryan pitching carefully to Murray, and he told us that before the game. He said, the one man I don't want to beat me is Eddie Murray. And Murray has punished the Angels during the course of this year, hitting well over 400. And 1. Got in on him, 3-2.
Dick, I honestly believe in about 3 years, there's not going to be any pitch you can really throw this man. Right now, he's not disciplined. He's young and he's just aggressive, but the day is going to come about 3 years from now, there isn't going to be anything you can throw up there. He's going to be a great player.
Full count on Eddie Murray. You saw Pat Kelly, the veteran, on deck. Nolan Ryan struck out the side to open the ball game. Just a protective swing. Murray didn't really want to go, but thought that might be a strike and spoiled that fastball. Now he looks, to follow up on your point, Sparky, about the fact he'll become more and more disciplined and really a tougher hitter. You know, he'll take cuts like that. You say, oh, it's going to be an easy out. On the next one, he'll bury 450 feet in the bleachers.
Yeah, he has so much strength. He's so quick with his hands. He's just got tremendously fast hands.
Play, and it remains 3-2. high school team on which Murray played, Locke High School in Los Angeles. His teammates were Ozzie Smith, infielder now the Padres, and pitcher Darrell Jackson, now working for Gene Monk's club in Minnesota. That's not a bad start if you're a high school coach.
You become smart real quick.
3-2. Chased a bad ball, and Ryan has struck out the first 4 men that he has faced.
That ball's so live up there for both Ryan and Palmer, Dick. If it wasn't, you wouldn't swing at a pitch like that. That ball, when it starts out, looks like it might be a strike to the hitter. Once you start that bat going, it's so hard to stop it when the ball's coming that fast.
Nolan Ryan, with a lively fastball, has punched out Bunbury, Belanger, Singleton, and Murray. Here's Pat Kelly. Kelly hit a grand slam off Ryan last year.
Well, you can really see right now Ryan is just too much of a match for these hitters. He's getting that ball by them.
One strike pitch. 1-1.
Dick, I don't see any of those Baltimore hitters looking back at the guy with the gun to see how fast he's throwing. They figure there's no sense to look back. He's right around 98.
Yeah, the radar gun behind home plate to measure the speed of the pitchers. Andrew Weaver uses that, lets his hitters know how fast the man is. Well, that's wicked when you throw the fastball up around 100 miles. There's the man with the radar gun. Then you come back with a snake like that one at about 90 miles an hour.
It wasn't too bad a curveball. And because he's throwing this well, the Angels have just started to shift their outfield and infield over a little bit more to the left, which is what they should do. I don't think anybody's going to be pulling them. You can see the center fielder shifted over to the left side.
1-2. Bobby Grich to Rod Carew. Now the infield gets its first chance behind Ryan.
Dick, Pat Kelly reminds me of the scout went to high school and scouted a pitcher, and the pitcher pitched a no-hitter, and everybody said, well, who'd you sign? He said, I signed the hitter that hit a foul ball. Well, that's what that reminds me of Pat Kelly.
Kelly pulled it sharply, but right at Grich, and here's Lee May. He's the clubhouse leader of this Oriole club. Veteran from Birmingham, Alabama, now 36. With his 19 home runs this year, that broke quite a string. He had gone 11 straight years hitting 20 home runs or more. And you don't want to throw him a high fastball out over the plate unless you're extremely quick.
Or inside. You don't want anything inside on this guy. You see Downing sitting on the outside corner. And Ryan hits that spot real well.
Right to the glove. Power against power, and Ryan jumps in front, 0-2.
He'll give you that outside corner, Dick, Lee May will. Gil Hodges was the same kind of hitter. He really wouldn't handle a pitch on the outside 2 or 3 inches. But you come in from there, and he'll take you.
May hit a grand slam home run this year against the Angels to win a ball game. It was not against Ryan. 1-2. Well, you can just see Ryan straining as he pushes off that rubber. He has powerful legs. They wonder where the speed comes from. It's good motion, of course, but Ryan's strength is in his lower body. He was a leg wrestling champion when he was in the service. You see him in a swimming suit, and he's got tremendous calves and thighs. 2-2. Ryan, all 4 pitches have been away to May. '67 National League Rookie of the Year, May. And with Cincinnati. Tell you what, those foul balls coming off a fastball, you grab those, Sparky. That's your job up here.
I couldn't catch him when I was playing, Dick.
What, you were kidding Jim Fregosi around the batting cage yesterday? You said that in your major league career you never hit the fence on the fly?
Never hit the fence on a fly once. One time I hit a ball that went between them on a hard field and it hit the fence.
2 strikes to Lee May. 2 out, no one on, bottom of the second, 1-0 Angels. Full count. Ryan, after jumping in front 0-2, trying to nibble away, and May has the count full.
If the Angels are going to win, Dick, they've had everything go their way so far. They've had Danny Ford get them off to a quick lead, which was very important, especially in such a hostile ballpark. These fans really scream. And Nolan Ryan right now looks like he's throwing as well as I've seen him throw this year.
There are those. Ryan sets for the 3-2 pitch. That could be trouble in the corner. Foul ball. Lee May flirting with an opposite field home run. Almost dropped that one off the foul pole. And the wind blowing from center field toward right may have knocked that one out of play.
I think that ball would have stayed fair, Dick.
Dick, you're absolutely right, and you mentioned before about the hitters not being able to pull Nolan Ryan for a home run, but that doesn't mean they can't go to the opposite field and get one of those cheap home runs down the line. That was awfully close to going out. There is a little bit of a breeze blowing from left to right, and I think that prevented that ball from staying fair.
Oh, Lee May back to the plate, almost tied it up for Baltimore. 3-2. Ryan's 5th strikeout in the first 2 innings. 6 up, 6 down for the Orioles against Ryan. We've completed 2 in Baltimore. The Angels won, the Orioles nothing.
The closest you can come to playing in a real baseball game is Intex Electronic Baseball. The closest you can come to playing in a real poker game is Intex Electronic Poker.
All right, stranger, where'd that last ace come from?
The closest you can come to being in a space battle is the Intex Space Battle game. Intex, the electronic games nobody can come close to.
A good quarterback does his homework on and off the field. That's probably why the 3 of us are all drinking light beer from Miller.
See, Light's got a third less calories than the regular beer, and it's less filling.
Plus, it tastes great. And you know it's important to have a command of facts like that.
It's mental discipline, really.
You're darn right. Because if you know every position, every option, every formation, you'll never get your signals crossed.
Hey, that's my beer, Terry.
Oh, no, this is...
Yeah,
no, wait a minute.
Light beer from Miller. Everything you always wanted in a beer, and less.
I didn't feel my label.
Super automotive values from Sears. The Road Handler. Or the Road Handler Ice and Snow. Sears' best steel-belted radials are now on sale. Buy the first at regular price and get the second at 30% off. And now get the full power, the maintenance-free Sears 48 for a full $7 off its regular low price. Now on sale, the Sears 48, $47.99 with trade-in, you save $7. At Sears, where America shops for value.
On Sports World, China's top female gymnasts challenge an international field in China Invitational Gymnastics, plus exciting first-round coverage of the Legends of Bowling, Saturday.
We all can appreciate the magic of body language. Sometimes you've got to talk to the ball. Dan Ford on May's drive said, hey, that go out. You go out of there. Ford, who has his home run. And he trying to help the right field umpire. Of course, they're using the 6 umpires. Greg Kosk was the man responsible for the call. Larry Barnett behind the plate. Dale Ford at first. Jim Evans at second. Don Denkinger at third. With Al Clark down the left field line. And Greg Kosk, the right field umpire. You never use that body language down in the dugout, do you?
Oh, never, Dick. You know, you're unlike Weaver, real nice at all times and never raise your voice tone.
Larry Harlow acquired purchase deal from the Orioles by the Angels this year when they had that rash of injuries that included Rick Miller and Joe Rudy early. Harlow hitting .234, but since July 6th, batting .348. This telecast presented by authority of Major League Baseball, intended solely for the private, non-commercial use of our audience. Any publication, reproduction, retransmission, or other use The pictures, descriptions, accounts of this game without the express written consent of Major League Baseball is prohibited. Palmer feeding Harlow high fastballs, and the count is 1-2. Dan Ford's home run, the only hit of the game. We're in the top of the third. Eddie Murray with the easy out at first base. Jim Anderson, the shortstop, hitting .248. Part of that young left side of the Angel infield. Anderson at 22 and Carney Lansford 23 at third base. Bert Campaneris, the veteran shortstop, bothered by a heel problem and a wrist, and Anderson has taken over the job.
I think you'd have to say, wouldn't you, Dick, that the Angels have had more problems at shortstop this year than any place else. They've tried Rance Mulliniks there, at Orlando Ramirez, Campy Campaneris, and now Jimmy Anderson. And Campy's a little upset he's not playing because he says he's healthy now. Naturally, he would like to be in there, but Anderson's done a nice job for them.
And he's hit well against the Orioles, as you saw, in his limited duty. Ooh, that looked better than the other one. Rick Dempsey on his way to the dugout, but even if that had been strike three, only 2 outs there, Rick.
Rick wants to get him over quick.
There's a heck of a kid.
He's a very emotional player. He'll run through walls. He's like a football player back there.
2 balls and 2 strikes.
The thing I liked about him, Dick, watching him catch, was the fact he controls that whole staff. He'll go out there and he'll really talk to them, and he'll get mad with them, and they yell at him, he yells right back.
Yeah, he's a pup right out of Weaver, isn't he?
Well, he runs the ship.
Earl Weaver in the background with a lineup card on the wall, and there's one of the Oriole greats, Frank Robinson, most valuable player, Triple Crown winner in both leagues. MVP in the National with Cincinnati, and number 20 here are the Orioles. Mark Belanger. 2 gone. 4 of the last 5 outs from Palmer have been ground balls, and he's retired 6 in a row now since Ford's home run. Rick Miller, he grounded to first his first at bat. Now Robinson, when he joined the California Angel Ball Club in the early 70s, and he had a flair for the dramatic, as you well know, Sparky. His first time up in Anaheim as an Angel, hit a home run on opening night. Did the same thing the first time up in Cleveland when he was their new manager.
Well, most people in the National League say that he was probably one of the greatest clutch hitters and greatest clutch players in National League history.
Jim Fregosi, Larry Sherry to Fragosi's right, pitching coach. We get word from downstairs that radar gun measuring Ryan at 95 miles an hour in the last inning.
To be truthful with you, Dick, I think they're trying to make Earl feel good in the dugout, because I think he's about 3 or 4 miles faster.
1-2 the count. That's a tough play for DeCinces. Out in time. And had not DeCinces slowed it up, I believe Belanger would have gotten it.
He made a close play out of it. It's a nice play by Belanger. DeCinces has had that bad back, and he just can't quite get down. He's normally a better fielder than that. Now Belanger backs the play up and almost gets him. It was a nice try.
A leg hit for Rick Miller, the second hit of the game. Let's see it from another angle.
Yeah, here's a play like Wes said. If Doug's back's not bothering him, there's no question he'll make that play.
Carney Lansford, he struck out. Palmer's only strikeout. First time up.
Woo. Dick, this is one of the finest young players in the American League. He's like Murray. They're both the same age, and they're both going to be the same type of players. This is a great young player.
Had his troubles hitting the Orioles, but against the rest of the league, hit around 300, 289 overall. one gets away from Dempsey, and Rick Miller moves into scoring position. Almost looked as if Dempsey was crossed up on that one. He didn't get out there very quickly.
Let's see what happens here. I'm surprised he missed this ball, too. It does almost look like he either got crossed up or just didn't concentrate. The ball slid outside, and he didn't go out with it.
Pass ball charged against Dempsey. And with a 2-0 count, Lansford has a chance to give the Angels a run with a base hit.
Carney has never really played more than about 120 games throughout the minor leagues, and he's gotten a little tired this year. He's dropped down 1 ounce in the weight of his bat.
3-0, and Palmer wants a new baseball. Miller at second, 2 out, top of the third. And Dan Ford, the home run man, is on deck for the Angels.
There you see Lansford. He's 6'2", 195 pounds. He's strong, but it's a long, long season, a half a year by the time you get to the end of it. And he's gone from a 32.5-ounce bat to 31.5 ounces. Lost 1 ounce in weight. That makes a big difference to a hitter. He can really feel that ounce. That's a lot of weight.
3-0 to Lansford. Ball 4. Palmer walks his first man. 4 pitches to Lansford. 2 on, 2 out, and Dan Ford, the hitter.
Now there's Frank Robinson. He has made such a difference with the outfield. He will align his outfielders where he thinks they should be. The outfield was the weak spot for Baltimore last year, and all this spring he worked with the 9 outfielders who he had in spring training. And they have really come around. That outfield is without doubt the biggest improvement over the Baltimore team of last year.
You saw him move Pat Kelly deeper into left center field off the line. Ford hit his home run over the 385 sign in left center. There was concern by the Angels that Dan Ford would not be able to play tonight. He pulled a muscle in his rib cage against Kansas City a week and a half ago. But he seemed to swing it pretty good the first time up.
Yeah, he didn't have no trouble. That ball he hit out.
Down the right field line in trouble. Fair ball. Miller scores. They're going to try to score Lansford. No, they hold him at third. A double by Ford. 2-0 Angels. Dan Ford, a home run and an RBI double.
Well, the Angels are doing just what they have to do. They're getting off to a good start against Palmer. That's going to help Nolan Ryan. That ball's on the outside corner, and he just goes right with it and drives that ball into the corner. And with good hustle, he gets to second base. You'll see the right fielder here, Singleton, play this ball well off the wall. Makes a strong throw.
With 2 out, Lansford was running hard, and Singleton had to play the carom cleanly, or they would have sent Lansford. Don Baylor up, Lansford at third, Ford at second. And the inning is over. A big pitch made by Palmer, but the Angels get a run on 2 hits and lead 2. Middle of the third. California 2, Baltimore nothing.
Polaroid's One Step is the world's simplest camera and the easiest way ever to warm up a party.
I thought champagne was.
Champagne's second. Now watch. You and I are strangers. I just press the button, and then I hand you your picture.
My mother told me about this party.
All that sharp, clear color develops in minutes. Now we have something to talk about.
Very pretty. I like this party.
It isn't a party. It's a demonstration.
No party?
No party.
No party?
No party. Get the One Step.
Get the One Step.
All mufflers are not created equal. Take a Walker muffler. Over the years, it helps your engine run efficiently, which means it helps you get the most for your gasoline dollars. Why? Because it's been engineered specifically for your car. That's why I put on Walker. A Walker exhaust system helps your car perform at its best, so you can get the most for your gasoline dollars. Just look for the Walker sign at service stations and garages everywhere.
Doug DeCinces leads off the Oriole third. We talked to the third baseman about what he expects from Ryan.
Oh, there's no doubt. Nolan Ryan has got tremendous physical ability. We just hope to catch him when he's not throwing the ball exactly where he wants to. His biggest problem is throwing the pitch in the location he wants to. Sometimes it gets a little bit too tricky, and instead of throwing that 100-mile-an-hour fastball, he'll try to throw a 3-2 curveball and things like that. And we're going to take advantage. He's had trouble beating us because we're basically a fastball-hitting baseball club. And there's no doubt you have to be impressed with Nolan Ryan every time you walk out there, especially as a right-handed hitter. I don't know what he looks like from the other side of the dish.
Al DeCinces gets his turn at Ryan, who's struck out 5 of the first 6 Orioles that he has faced. DeCinces, a .230 season, and in fairness to Doug, he's a much better hitter than those statistics. He hurt his back in the first month of the season, and he's not 100%.
Dick, I was talking to him yesterday. He hurt his back on April the 27th in Oakland during infield practice. And ever since then, it's just been a day by day. And he was out about 6 weeks during the season.
Now, it's interesting. The Angels have several Baltimore Orioles, ex-Orioles on their squad. Rich and Baylor, Larry Harlow, and John Montague, Merv Rettenman, 20% of the team. On the other hand, the Orioles, of their 9 starters, 5 grew up within an hour's drive of Anaheim Stadium. So you've got a Southern California element on the Baltimore club, and ex-Orioles going for the Angels. It is a small world.
Small world. You'd have to say the Baltimore scouts did an excellent job.
Someone should have gotten a bonus for sticking their head in that red-hot baseball patch of Southern California. 1-1 to DeCinces. 2-0 Angels, last of the 3rd inning. 2-1. Ryan, 5 wins, 13 losses lifetime against Baltimore. Might be a play for Rod Carew or Gritch. Gritch calling for it. Fair ball. The first break of the game, as the wind may have taken that one away from Bobby Gritch, who argues that that was the foul ball.
Boy, that's surprising to see Bobby Gritch miss a ball like that. He's just a fine fielder. The wind takes the ball away. Let's see if it's fair. Well, I guess it was. It's not where the ball hits the ground. It's where it was when it touched his glove. So let's see if we can tell from this angle. It's where the ball would have hit had it not touched his glove, or where he is. Yeah, it's a fair ball by far, by about 3 feet.
But Dick, the thing I've always said about Baltimore being in the league with them, you see where DeCinces is on second, and he had grounded second, even looking to go to third. They play baseball. They'll take advantage of everything you do, and then a lot of guys will end up on first base.
Would have given up on that one. Rich Dower hitting only .257, but a money hitter. He leads the Orioles in game-winning hits with 14.
And he'll try to move the ball to the right side here, Dick.
You saw him go after it, try to hit it to the right side. Now he's down 0-2 and has to just make contact.
Well, I'll be honest, Earl's club, though, in this situation, it's amazing. They still go there.
This is the money play. He takes that shot to right field, but he just gets under the ball like everybody else has.
Larry Harlow, and that will not advance a runner as the left fielder has the first out of the game of this 3rd inning.
Dick, that was a real smart pitch by Nolan Ryan. He changed speeds and threw a curveball to get Dower out in front. And he had to pull the ball to left field so he could not advance the runner. But Ryan caused this by taking something off the ball and flipping up that curveball. Now Dower's out in front of it. He tried to go to right but couldn't wait long enough.
He really did. He was positioned to try to hit the ball to the right side.
The Baltimore club, Dick, does those things. That's the one thing that they do so well.
1 out, Rick Dempsey, .239 hitter. And he'll battle you. 30 years of age now. His parents were vaudevillians. In fact, his dad starred in Song of Norway on Broadway right after World War II. we've got our NBC cameras in every corner of Memorial Stadium. This is how the game would appear if you're sitting in the upper deck down the left field line. Now this club of the Orioles, even though the Cincinnati's had their playoff teams and Pittsburgh has, and you can understand how some fans would be a bit more casual. You can understand the Angels' position. First time in 19 years, the fans out in Southern California are literally crazy. For the Oriole fans, you would figure that they wouldn't be quite so wildly enthusiastic about this team. There's something special about what has happened here in Baltimore this particular baseball year. And I think what the fans are saying is here's a club that has lost so many good players that have left because of the free agent situation, and that kind of everyday kind of players. And Dempsey perhaps symbolizes more than any other player just the kind of guy that the fans come out and cheer in Baltimore.
I agree with you, Dick. I think they're saying thank you for coming out and battling all year for us.
Hit well to left field. Harlow off the wall. One run scores. Dempsey to second. 2-1 Angels.
That might have hit the bar. Dick, this ball was so close to being a home run. Noli gets the fastball right down the middle, and Dempsey drives it to left. Now let's see how close it was to going out. That's Harlow. It hits the pole about 1.5 feet, just below the top of the wall, kicks off to the right for a double.
It would have been a home run. You see the different height in the fence. It doesn't matter what side it goes over. That would have been a home run.
About 2 inches more to the left, it might have been a home run. You're right. Boy, he drilled that ball.
And that was into the wind.
Well, there's no wind down that low. He just killed it.
Dick, what do they say? If? That's a big word.
Well, that's like hitting the pipe in a hockey game. Bunbury fouls it away. So the Orioles immediately, the mark of a good team. They won more games than anyone in the major leagues. An error by the Angels, and they've turned it into a run. Bunbury struck out swinging his first time up. Dempsey, the tying run, perched at second for Baltimore. It should be noted, and I suppose, Sparky, it's true of most power pitchers. When you get them into a stretch position, they have to lose some of that speed.
They lose some of their speed because, like you said, Nolan Ryan's a great leg pitcher, too. He's a power pitcher. He doesn't get the same power when he's in the stretch.
0-2. Bunbury wanted to and held back in time. One out, last of the third. Foul ball. Bunbury got good wood on it. Ryan pitching from the stretch for the first time in the game after going through the first 2 innings, 1, 2, 3. That too can make a difference. The last time he worked from a stretch was in the bullpen a half an hour ago. Got him with a breaking ball. For Ryan, his 6th strikeout.
Here's the one that really keeps the hitters honest. They have to be so quick on that fastball, and they wind up being out in front of the breaking ball. You just can't look for it, especially with 2 strikes. You've got to be looking for the fastball, and when that curve comes up, it's no contest.
Ryan should be out of the inning, leading 2-0. But with the error, it's 2-1 Baltimore, and Belanger has a chance to tie it. And this guy's as tough on Ryan as anyone in the Baltimore lineup. Ooh, good cut at a high fastball. Belanger took a called third strike, his first at bat. Belanger didn't think so. It's 0-2. Never fails when you're hitting 167. That's called a strike. If you're hitting 367, that's a ball.
And it's the 167 hitter who argues about the call, too.
Dick, it's easy for West to say because, you know, he can hit. How about his poor guy's 218? That's the reason I couldn't play. They made bad calls on me, West.
I bet you still think about those times. You remember every one of those pitches they called on. 2-2 to Belanger. This is the man Ryan wants. He does not want to have to face Ken Singleton on deck.
They talk about pitchers working in and out, Dick, but Nolan Ryan is actually working up and down with just those two pitches, that fastball rising and the curveball sinking. It's very tough on the hitters when he gets that breaking ball over.
2 out. 2-1, California. And Ryan contemplating this 2-2 delivery. Base hit. Play at the plate. Not in time. It's tied at 2.
Dick, isn't that amazing the way Belanger hits a man like Nolan Ryan, though?
Two unearned runs by the Orioles in the last of the third inning have tied the game. And Mark Belanger, who had 9 RBIs all year, has tied it up with this base hit.
Good base running too, Dick, as Belanger gets down to second. But again, Noli just happened to throw one right down the middle. And the Orioles said before the game, that's what they're looking for, hoping for mistakes from Ryan. They sure have taken advantage of the mistakes in this inning. That's Dempsey making that head first slide.
Looks like Pete moves. That's right. On the throw to the plate, Belanger goes to second, and now the big guys come up for Baltimore. And Larry Sherry as Belanger in scoring position at second. Larry Sherry, the Angel pitching coach, goes out to talk with Nolan Ryan. This is the 20th anniversary for Larry Sherry. You'll recall in 1959, the White Sox and the Dodgers played in the World Series in Los Angeles, and Larry Sherry did something no one has ever done in World Series play. He won 2 games, and he saved the other 2. He finished all 4 victories for the Dodgers in that 4-2 series win against the White Sox. Larry Sherry became a household name. He was a rookie right-hander that year.
He sure did, and he used to run in from the bullpen. He couldn't wait to pitch. He had that hard slider.
1-0 to Singleton. Out of play. It's inning open when Gritch dropped the pop fly off the bat of Doug DeCinces. After Dower flied out, Dempsey doubled off the top of the left field fence. Bumbry struck out, but Mark Belanger whistled a single to center field, and it's 2-2. Gritch at second. His error has cost 2 runs. Two and 1.
Dick, it's really amazing how opportunistic Baltimore has been, not just in this game, but all season long. People have wondered, who are these guys and how are they doing it? And this is exactly what they've been doing all year. It's not lucky, not after you do it this long. They just seem to get all fired up the minute they get a slight little opening, and it's almost like a football team. You recover a fumble or something like that, and suddenly the momentum shifts. Give them one little break, and they're gone.
And especially in front of the home crowd. Singleton trying to pick up Belanger. Boy, he's strong. He just flicked that bat out at that fastball and sent it almost over the top of the third deck.
It's amazing, too, that some of the teams that had this kid didn't stay with him, because the Mets had him in the beginning. They kept him 2 years, traded him to Montreal. He was 3 years there. They traded him away to Baltimore. And you could just see almost the potential because of his size, if nothing else.
6'4", 211 pounds. 1-2. It was one of the great trades for the Orioles when they acquired Singleton and Mike Torres from the Montreal Expos a few years ago. Dave McNally and Rich Coggins went to Montreal, and the Expos literally got nothing out of the deal, and Baltimore got two great players. All four. Ryan has walked his first man, and here comes Eddie Murray. On the phone is Larry Sherry, and the Angels are getting someone ready in the bullpen. The Angels do not have too many healthy arms.
They don't want to take Nolan Ryan out. This is the time right now when he's got to really get himself together, because the game is still tied. If he can get out of this inning, the Angels can come back and take the lead.
Ball one. Mark Clear, the right-hander, throwing in the Angel bullpen. Sensational up to the All-Star break as a rookie was Clear and made the All-Star team. Since the All-Star game has had arm problems and has not pitched effectively. One ball on Murray, 2 on, 2 out. Murray talking to himself now. Get that ball down just a little bit more, Mr. Ryan. Singleton at first, Belanger at second, 2-2 in the last of the third inning.
Boy, Ryan is such a workhorse. He throws so many pitches in the course of the game. It's not unusual for him to throw 150 or 160 pitches.
And the count goes 1-2.
Dick, the thing I notice about Ryan, though, as hard as he throws and as hard as he works, he doesn't perspire much.
I guess when you grow up in that area of Texas down around Houston, you get up into weather like this, and this is like visiting Alaska. About 70 degrees tonight, very pleasant night. Forecaster says a chance of a few showers later tonight. 1-2 the count. Got him, breaking ball. Ryan has his 7th strikeout. Bobby Grich to the dugout. The leadoff error results in 2 unearned runs. 2 runs, 2 hits, 1 error, 2 left. After 3, a new ball game. 2-2 tie. We'll be back after these messages from your local station.
Thursday, Buck Rogers lands on a 25th century Las Vegas.
You with the welcome wagon?
To rescue a kidnapped woman. But the stakes skyrocket as Buck tries to save her life.
Grand Union's 107th anniversary sale circular in Monday's newspaper, 16 full-color pages chock full of Red Arrow specials like U.S. government grade A pre-basted Land O'Lakes turkeys, 10 to 14 pound size, 68 cents a pound. Colonial brand fully cooked smoked hams, water added, shank portion, 67 cents a pound. Grand Union ice cream, all flavors, half-gallon carton, 98 cents with coupon and $5 purchase. Don't forget your free card for this week's race game. Anniversary sale this week at Grand Union.
If you're as steamed up as Sambo's is about the high cost of eating out, come on into Sambo's and get a hot roast beef sandwich for $1.89.
$1.89?
Only $1.89 for tender slices of hot roast beef, with potatoes steaming with rich brown gravy. If you're as steamed up about high prices as much as Sambo's is, we've got a hot roast beef sandwich for only $1.89.
Only $1.89.
Get it while it's hot.
Marvelous. I have a picture just like that.
It's a painting.
What kind of car you driving?
A 1979 Volkswagen Rabbit.
How can you tell it's a Rabbit? Careful. Those cars all look alike to me.
You obviously have not driven a Rabbit, my good man.
But there are so many cars that cost less. Why a new Rabbit?
Because who would own a copy when he can own the original?
You can win a 1980 Rabbit. See your Volkswagen dealer for details now. Sweepstake ends October 31st.
Three's a Crowd, 7:30 weeknights on TV6.
3 Inning tie at 2 aside. 2 runs, 3 hits, an error for the Angels. The Orioles 2 runs, 2 hits, and no errors. Ron Carew, Brian Downing, Bobby Grich to bat against Jim Palmer. Carew grounded to second his first time up. 7 times the American League batting champion. Straight as a string right into that glove.
He hit the target right where it was, too, Dick.
Bounce that one. It's 1-1. Palmer grew up in Los Angeles. Family moved to Arizona. He attended Scottsdale High School in Arizona. Been a scene of Major League spring training for several years. Into the corner, and that's got a double written on it. Played carefully by Pat Kelly, and Carew a stand-up double. Now the Angels come right back with a leadoff double from Carew.
Well, this is pretty. He just reaches out and flicks that ball over to Sensei's head. It was an outside pitch, and he goes with it so beautifully. You really shouldn't pitch a good hitter the same place twice in a row. The pitch before was outside. He went outside again.
Our leadoff double from Carew. And here's Brian Downing, and his job again is to move that runner to third.
Move the ball to the right side. Dick, if you notice, 2 balls, one in the right field corner and one in the left field, and both balls come off. Both Baltimore outfielders are right there. They know that fence like a hawk.
Ball doesn't ride the corner the way you'll see in some ballparks. That caroms straight out. And
Straight out towards center field at angles.
Downing grounded to third first time up, and he moves the runner. Dower gets the out at first. Those are the things, though, that managers love to see.
Well, you know, Dick, that's the thing I noticed early this year in the season, watching ball games at Anaheim, that Jimmy's Ball Club, Lugosi's club, was really doing that well. And then when we played against them, they do that so well, too. So Jimmy's club was schooled excellent during spring training, the same as Earl's club.
Bobby Grich dropped a fly ball in the last inning, but Grich has had a great year with a glove, and against your Detroit Ball Club, he didn't miss a similar play at Tiger Stadium. That's a little tougher. He had a lot farther to go between Ford and Carew. Oh, that's almost exactly in the same spot.
It's exactly the same play.
Now, Mike Weissman had that one in his back pocket, thought that would play there, and it certainly did.
Sure, against us, they catch them all. See, that's why we have a rough year.
Dick, the infield's in, so he's going to have to get the ball in the air probably to score this run.
Ball 1 almost got away from Dempsey, and Palmer had a little extra on that one.
Now, Jim is like this. He gets in a situation of this type. A runner on third, less than 2 outs, and he's going to start muscling up a little bit and either go for the strikeout or the pop-up.
A 2-2 tie, 1 out. Carew, excellent base runner, good speed at third. Infield of DeCinces, Belanger, Dower, and Murray in tight. Grich worked, as did Downing, with weights during the offseason. He's very strong. He was an outstanding football player in Long Beach High School. Would have gone to UCLA, played quarterback, but signed with the Orioles. 1 home run this year against Baltimore. I think Grich thought that Palmer was going to deliver a little too quickly for him that time. That's the pitch he wanted, the ball that he could drive. 2-1. There's a young bird, Oriole fan. It looks like an orange and black pacifier. That's real spirit.
That's going with the Orioles all the way, Dick.
2 balls and a strike. Carew, 90 feet away from giving the Angels the lead once again. Three and 1. Larry Harlow is on deck. left-handed hitter, but doesn't have the power that Gritch possesses. Out of play, 3-2. Now here's Palmer with 1 strikeout in the first 3 1/3 innings. Now you know that here's a spot where he's going to try to punch out Gritch and deny the Angels a chance for a run on and out. This is his first full count.
And you know, too, Dick, if anybody wants to get a hit any worse than Bobby Gritch, he's not here tonight.
That's right. This is a trip to make amends for Bobby.
This is a makeup time right here.
Now Palmer playing a cat and mouse game with Gritch. It's part of his whole pitching pattern. He gets in this pressure spot and he'll step off the rubber the way a hitter will step out of the box. Make you think a little bit. Way out of play. Carew, a leadoff double, moved to third on Downing's ground ball out to second.
Dick, here's where that fast infield comes in. If he hits the ball now with that infield in, the grass being as short as it is and wore down, that ball can get through, where the difference with the heavy grass, it could.
Carew is tagging Murray with the wind carrying it toward the crowd. And Carew is coming just in case, but Murray didn't get the ball.
He didn't catch it, but he might have been able to had he gotten over there a little bit quicker, Dick. He more or less played the ball instead of rushing over to the fence and waiting for it, getting in position where he might have been able to make that catch. You see, he's still not close to the wall when that ball goes in, and he should have been right next to it. He had a shot at catching that ball.
It would have been a tough throw for him, though, Sparky, if Carew would have been coming, because he'd have been draped over that railing.
I'll tell you this, Dick, he'd have had to throw Carew out, because Carew was tagged and he was going to score on the play.
3-2. 1 out. Top of the fourth, 2-2 tie. Now Gritch has the second walk-off Palmer, and that'll change the defensive alignment and bring Earl Weaver to the mound. And the Oriole bullpen becomes busy. Dave Skaggs, number 8, warming up Sammy Stewart, 53. Oh, here's a great young arm. Stewart, fastball and one of the best curveballs in the league. He would be a number 1 or 2 starter on almost half the clubs in the American League, and he's number 6 on the Orioles staff.
And that story won't stop with him. It'll go on and on. Everybody they get up in the bullpen is going to be pretty much like this fella right here. They have just an outstanding bullpen as well as good starting pitching as well. Dick, it's almost intimidating to see how much pitching they've got.
What do you think Weaver told Palmer there?
He told him there that first and third, we're going to throw through if he runs. We're throwing through. Get the ball down. We've got to have a ground ball for a double play.
You think Fregosi might, in turn, try a little squeeze in this situation?
He could be here, but I believe he thinks that he can run well enough, Harlow, that he won't hit in a double play for him.
Harlow grounded to first, his first time up. That ball was, as you indicated, down.
He wants him to get the ball down here, Dick. He has to have a double play, and they will throw through a few steals over there at first, Gritch.
Gritch has not tried to steal, but a handful of times this year. In fact, takes one of the shortest leads on the club. He only has about a 1.5 lead. Palmer rearing back and throwing the first 2 right by Harlow.
Since Larry played here last year, he's got the book on him, and it looks like Palmer wants to pitch him outside.
It looks by the first 2 pitches, too, Dick, that Earl told him, don't you give him anything soft to hit.
Make him hit the hard stuff. 0-2. Got him swinging. Well, Palmer has his second strikeout, and the Angels can't score a run on and out. Brings up Jim Anderson, who grounded to short his first time up. Palmer having a little clubhouse meeting with himself back of the mound.
Here's a real decision. You're first and third, you have 2 out, and you have Anderson, your 9th hitter, up. They know the young kid being in his first playoff like this is nervous. I'm not too sure here that they will not throw through. I don't believe they'd throw through here. They'll give you the fake and try to get the guy back at third, Carew. I really don't think they'll throw here. They'll take a chance that they can get Anderson out.
In other words, you would send your runner?
If they send him here, I don't believe they'll throw through. I think they'll fake good and try to get Carew over here at third.
Carew led off the inning with a double. Rich at first with a walk. 2 gone. Out of play. That's a very big spot in this ball game, gentlemen, in that the Orioles have just scored 2 unearned runs to tie. The Angels come back and get the leadoff man on second. And then if Palmer can deny the Angels a run, that has to give Baltimore still a further boost. And going back to Wes Parker's comment about momentum.
Well, it will, Dick. There's no doubt about it. And in a good ball game like this, you're going to see the momentum continually shift until one team either takes control of the game or wins it in the last inning. One thing, you can really get an idea of what Palmer wants to do when he gets into trouble. He's just gone to that high fastball. That's his best pitch, without a doubt.
Jimmy's throwing real good tonight too, Dick, but the way the ball game's went, it has been, a little struggle. He's throwing a lot of pitches. I think now Earl's looking, if he can get through this inning and getting through 5, then we're going to see Stewart right away.
2 out, first and third for the Angels. And Palmer has Anderson in the hole. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Listen to this crowd. It's been a din for the last hour and a half. Palmer doesn't like the baseball. The count is 2-2. Well, Mark Belanger has the lowest batting average in the club, delivered an RBI single. Now the Angels are hopeful that Anderson, their 9th hitter, can do the same. And Earl Weaver, he's puffing and prancing in that dugout.
He loves to pace, Dick.
Popped him up. Doug DeCinces. And Palmer pitches out of it. No runs, 1 hit, 2 left as Palmer pitches around Carew's leadoff double. And in the middle of the 4th, it's still tied at 2.
She was the most beautiful girl I had ever seen.
Even though he doesn't know who she is.
Sir.
This man will cross the hottest sands, climb the highest mountains, and sail the deepest seas to make his dream come true. Because on a scale from 1 to 10, he's about to meet a 10. 10, rated R. See your fantasy come true at a theater near you. Check local listings.
You look at the TC3, you're looking at the engineering concepts of the future.
The TC3 was the engineer's car from the beginning.
If you want a car with advanced engineering, look into Plymouth TC3. Terrific gas mileage, lots of standard features, and proven front-wheel drive. But the thing that'll make you want it is the fun you have when you take it for a drive.
I'm not asking you to buy any car on faith. I'm asking you to compare.
Get the whole wheat working for you.
Get whole wheat Wheaties working for you. Because for good nutrition, a Wheaties breakfast is hard to beat. You see, Wheaties is made from the whole kernel of wheat. You get not only the heart of the wheat, but the wheat germ and bran fiber too. Don't shortchange your body. Get all the nutrition that comes from a good breakfast. Like a whole wheat, Wheaties breakfast.
Get the whole wheat working for you.
Wheaties, the breakfast of champions.
Last of the fourth inning in Baltimore, 2-2 tie. Let's pause briefly for station identification. This is the NBC Television Network.
WRGB TV6, Schenectady.
From left to right, Joe Cronin, former American League president, Hall of Famer, manager, and player. Dick Butler in the middle. He's the supervisor of American League umpires. And Lee McPhail, the American League president. Dick Enberg, Wes Parker, Sparky Anderson, the triumvirate up here in the press box. We're pleased you've joined us. Game 1, the American League Series, and off to an interesting start. Angels and Orioles tied at 2. Angels getting their runs on a Ford home run and a Ford RBI double. Orioles getting 2 unearned runs in the third. On a drop pop fly, a double by Dempsey, and a single from Belanger. Pat Kelly grounded to second his first time up. 2-0.
Dick, you didn't have to show me the league president. He's got some of my money. I'm invested in him.
Oh, he's already introduced you to that particular aspect of play on this side of the fence.
He's really a nice man. He said, I want to greet you to the league.
Ryan falls behind Kelly, 3-0.
It's interesting, Dick, that Kelly would even be starting tonight because Weaver keeps track of every man's average against certain pitchers, and Kelly has had a tremendous percentage against Ryan, about 305.
3-1. Weaver will make that point because we saw a lot this year against Angel pitching. Kelly was 111. He said that didn't mean a thing. How does Kelly do against Ryan? In lifetime, he's over 300.
Normally, either Gary Renicky or John Lowenstein would have started in left field tonight.
He's on. Walks the leadoff man. His second walk, and here's Lee May. Well, baseball doesn't always create ulcers to managers, but walking leadoff men will get you a good start on one.
Well, it'll give you white hair, Dick.
May struck out, first time up. May and his brother Carlos with a very unique distinction. Both brothers winning the Rookie of the Year award. He won in '67, Carlos with the White Sox in '69. Runner goes. Kelly, always an outstanding base runner, has the first steal of the series.
This guy's really something. He's 35 years old now. He stole 40 bases back in 1969, only 10 last year, but he sure gets a big one right here. Good slide, got a good jump. Look at the jump he gets. He takes one little look towards home plate to see if the hitter is going to swing. And beats the throw. That's a big steal at this point in the game.
Out of play, and it's 1-2 to Lee May.
You know, Dick, when you watch Lee May hit, I think he leaves the dugout swinging. He should have come up in the Pittsburgh organization because over the years, all those Pirate hitters hacked when they left the dugout.
Now, speaking of the Buccaneers, they got the Reds to walk the plank in extra innings again today, and Pittsburgh now leads 2-0. Oh, threw it away. Kelly to third on a wild pitch. Now, when you talk of the highs and lows of Nolan Ryan, the strikeouts certainly have been an exciting part of his career. But this is also part of Ryan's baseball life. A walk, a steal, a wild pitch, and now with no one out, the go-ahead runs at third.
It wasn't that bad a pitch. It just looked like he threw it so hard and had it down so low that Downey couldn't handle it. And it's not the first time that Ryan, because of his speed, has tied up a catcher. That's what it looked like he did.
Just overmatched him, Wes. He didn't have a chance. Like you said, he threw it so hard and he's been pitching up all night. Poor Brian didn't have a chance.
Ryan now will go to the full windup. The infield will play in at the corners. 2-2 to May. Now here's where Ryan really wants to strike out. Ooh. A high limb, and May fouls it back.
That was doubly unfortunate, too, Dick, the wild pitch, because Lee May is not the kind of hitter who would normally hit a ball to the right side. So it's doubtful that he would have advanced that runner to third.
May up, no one out, and Kelly in a 2-2 tie standing at third. Got him with a breaking ball. Ryan's 8th strikeout, one away. Doug DeCinces, it was his pop fly down the right field line, opening the third inning, that was dropped by Gritch and led to the 2 Baltimore unearned runs. Infield now will pull in. Infield tight, hitter's delight.
A lot of times when you watch Nolan Ryan pitch, it's not so much him against Baltimore as it is Nolan Ryan against Nolan Ryan.
Ryan now working from the stretch. Line to right. That should get the run home. Here comes Kelly. Baltimore leads 3-2.
Dick, I think the important thing there when you see it again is the fact that DeCinces tried to go out that way. He was no way going to try to pull Ryan. He was going the other way all the way. Watch this here. He's going there all the way. Look at that. All the way out there. He knew he couldn't pull Ryan, so he was going to try to hit the ball in the middle of the diamond with that infield in. That's a good hitter. That's what you call a professional hitter.
And the Orioles again show how opportunistic they are. 2 unearned runs, and now a run without the aid of a base hit. A walk, a steal, a wild pitch, and a fly ball.
Now that wild pitch really shows up because the runner would have been at second base and not scored.
1-1 to Dower. He flied out his first at bat. Whenever the total in the run column exceeds that in the hit column, you know that something's wrong with your club. You hate to ever see those totals. 3 runs, 2 hits.
Well, that's what kills you, Dick. You know, you can out-hit a ball club and get beat simply because you don't do the little things, and they turn around like Baltimore has tonight so far and done every little thing right.
Jim Fragosi's club behind for the first time, 3-2. Curveball striking, it's 2-2 to Dower.
I'll tell you, Dower was not looking for a curveball. He was moving in like he was going to get that fastball. He couldn't believe it was a curve.
Anderson. And the inning is over. A run, no hits, no one left, and a 4. It's 3-2 Baltimore. Coming up for the Angels, Rick Miller, Carney Lansford, Dan Ford in the top of the 5th. 3-2 Baltimore.
Do you know me? I won the Triple Crown, but people still think of me as a kid. So I got the American Express card. I travel a lot, and it beats most cards at keeping track of business expenses, because the signed receipts usually come back with a bill. Besides, with the card, people look up to me, and not just when I'm up here.
To apply for a card, look for this display wherever the card is welcomed.
The American Express card. Don't leave home without it.
Nancy Hamilton will cross our path 8 times today. We're S-Mark. We own the companies that supply her peanut butter and turkeys, rubber gloves, and baby nursers, fertilizer, oil filters and motor oil, gasoline. We're S-Mark, a big company with a big stake in Nancy Hamilton and in you.
Major League Baseball presents Big League Tips.
The next time you go to a ball game, go early and watch the players run. Most of them will be pitchers running sprints in the outfield. The reason pitchers run so much is to strengthen their legs, because legs get tired more often than arms. When a pitcher's legs begin to tire, he starts releasing the ball too soon, and his pitches come in high. Strong legs are a must for a major league pitcher. Baseball fever. Catch it.
Preceding announcement published or furnished by the Major League Baseball that enjoyed a banner year. So many of the clubs, hundreds of thousands of fans ahead of their all-time records. Orioles a great year, over 1.6 million. The Angels an all-time record, 2.5 million. Here in Baltimore, it's 3-2 Orioles, and what a contrast in innings. In the top of the fourth, the Angels a leadoff double and couldn't score. The Orioles got a leadoff walk without the aid of a hit and scored. And it's Baltimore 3, the Angels 2. Rick Miller, the leadoff man, infield hit and scored a run, leads it off for the West Coast club. Miller married Carlton Fisk's sister. It's quite a baseball family. I imagine they have some pretty good hot stove sessions in the wintertime. Fly to shallow left. Pat Kelly with a beat on it. One away. Now Palmer has made some big pitches. After the Angels scored their second run in the third, there were runners on second and third, and Don Baylor the batter, and one pitch he got Baylor to bounce to third. And then with runners at first and third in the fourth inning, struck out Harlow and got Anderson on a foul pop. That ball hit well to left center field, but the wind will hold it up. Pat Kelly made the catch. Two away.
Well, they're laughing about it now, but they wouldn't have had they collided out there. Bunbury was in position to make the catch along with Kelly, as you can see. That's the way to do it. When two outfielders get close together, one should always try and make a low catch, the other a high catch. If you work that out ahead of time, you'll never have any problem with a collision.
I couldn't help but think of that picture with Bunbury catching Kelly. That's something not many people did to his brother, Leroy. They didn't catch him very often. One of the great running backs of all time. Two quick outs logged by Palmer, and here's the man that Palmer's not been able to get out. Ford, who homered his first time up and rattled an RBI double into the right field corner his next time up. Hit it right down to where you're watching now, and that scored a run in the third and put the Angels at second and third with two out, but Baylor grounded out to end the inning.
You can really see how close Ford is from this camera angle right here. He's actually pointing left of us toward foul territory. I don't think I've ever seen a hitter in my entire baseball career who has a more close stance than this guy does right here.
How about it, Sparky?
I've never seen anybody this close, and the funny part of it is the ball away from him, he still goes out there and gets it, and you've got to try to get the ball way in on him. And tonight, so far, Jimmy's got the ball right in the middle of the plate.
I think you have to pitch him inside, up and in.
Palmer ahead, 0-2. Bauer to Murray. 1, 2, 3. We're at the halfway mark in this one. 4.5 innings in the book. The Orioles will bring up in the last of the fifth inning, Rick Dempsey, Al Bunbury, and Mark Belanger.
And NBC.
3-2, Baltimore. Last of the fifth inning. The Orioles come up. A reminder, we'll be back with you tomorrow afternoon, 3 o'clock Eastern time, 12 o'clock in the West. Game 2 of the American League Series. It'll feature Dave Frost, right-hander for the Angels, 16-10, against Mike Flanagan, the 23-game winner, and the top candidate for the American League Cy Young Award for the Orioles. Rick Dempsey, it was his double off the top of the left field fence in the third inning. There was the key blow for the Orioles as they tied the game with 2 runs. He was 1 for 18 this year against Ryan prior to that double. And he hits that one well to right field. Just enough room for Dan Ford, about 350 feet from home plate. Leadoff man Al Bunbury up twice. He has struck out both times swinging. How important is this first game, Sparky? I mean, you can't, almost a cliche, obviously it's very important to both clubs, but I would think of the pressure, especially on the Angels, knowing they have to face Mike Flanagan tomorrow.
Well, Dick, I think it's a big game for one reason. You have two clubs as good as these two ball clubs. Whoever wins the first one, then only has to win 2 of the next 4. The club that loses has to beat them 3 out of 4, and that's tough.
Of course, then you reflect on the Cincinnati Reds, who have an off day to digest those 2 tough losses at Riverfront, and then they go into Pittsburgh having to sweep the Pirates.
You know, Dick, then you turn around if you're on the other end of it, and a manager feels his club can win 3 straight at any time, and your ball club feels that way. And believe me, that ball club ain't out of it over there.
3-1 to Bunbury.
The only thing is, Dick, it's so hard to sweep a club on the road, and that's essentially now what Cincinnati has to do. The Angels would be happy, I'm sure, to just get out of here with a split.
3-2 to Bunbury. A hesitant swing. This was Bunbury's best year. Runs scored 80, knocked in 49 runs. Count is 3-2. 3-2. Carney Lansford. Soft hands, he bobbled it, but it stayed right there. And the young man at third for the Angels throws out Bunbury.
I tell you,
Good play. He reached out and really stroked that outside pitch. Hit it pretty good, and Lansford stayed with it. That's not an easy infield to field on right now. It's really been chewed up by the Baltimore Colts playing there on Sunday.
In fact, the batter's box is right in the center of the end zone at one end of the field. As you step in, you're about 5 yards deep in the end zone. You kind of see the markings from up above with the yard stripes running. That first stripe you see in front of the batter's box is the 5-yard line. Line standing out about the 20. Belanger's RBI single in the third tied the game at 2. 2 out, no one on. Last of the 5th inning. Baltimore 3, the Angels 2.
Dick, I love to watch Connie Lansford. If you watch how low he gets to the ground just before the pitch, you know, I got to see him 10 games this year, and really, he is one of the finest and quickest young third basemen I've ever seen play.
Foul back. Lansford, despite the fact he has fullback size, he's around 200 pounds, may be one of the 5 fastest men out of the right side of the batter's box in the American League.
He's so much like LaFleur. You know, Ron LaFleur, the fellow that plays our center fielder in Detroit.
And that's why you were talking about, look how he gets down there.
So low. He just gets right down with the ball.
Belanger flies it to Harlow. And just like Palmer, Ryan works an easy 1-2-3 5th inning. For the Angels in the 6th inning, it'll be Don Baylor, Rod Carew, and Brian Downing, the middle of their order. A 3-2 Oriole lead.
Yep.
Move up to Budget Rent-A-Car, where you're #1.
I had no trouble getting here. Budget made it easy. They gave me this card, already printed up with exact directions. That's real service to travelers.
Budget Rent-A-Car proves you're #1.
I can't believe it. Hertz charged $10 more than Budget for the same one-day rental on the same size car. And Budget's right inside most airports.
At Budget, you're #1.
Hey, Sam. How come you're not
Today's your day. Look at you. Show them what a girl can do.
You want a Pepsi, Sam?
Samantha.
Samantha.
Come on and have a Pepsi day.
Thursday, Buck Rogers lands on a 25th century Las Vegas
You with the welcome wagon?
to rescue a kidnapped woman. But the stakes skyrocket as Buck tries to save her life. Then on Quincy,
I've just been losing babies for weeks now.
a tropical paradise turns into a nightmare because all the children are dying and only Quincy can save them. Quincy, right after Buck Rogers.
From the land of the crab cakes, Chesapeake. Baltimore, Maryland, Memorial Stadium, a beautiful sight on this night. 50,000 fans to see Game 1 of the American League Series. And through 5 innings, the hometown Orioles lead the Angels 3-2. Don Baylor. Here's a man that, at the age of 30, has done something so few men in any sport are able to realize. Realize that they are such a good player and also have the qualities of leadership and utilize those. He has become the man in the Angel clubhouse. Pops him up. Bauer, the second baseman. Oh, and he tripped over the sidelines out there in right field. So that's a hazardous place to play. Bauer had his trouble, but he hangs on to the ball. Rod Carew comes up. See Dower in action again.
Let's see if we can tell what he slipped on. That field, as we said, has been chewed up. And he's staggering around, makes a basket catch because of the wind again. And I guess he just trips over a clump of grass or something. It's hard to, maybe his own feet. But he hangs onto the ball.
Looks like a receiver not trying to stay in bounds on that sideline pattern. 1 out. Carew, a double and 2 trips. Ripped into right field. Now that's something Carew has not done much this year because of the bad thumb. Be able to pull the ball because that requires getting that top hand over. We asked Rod Carew prior to the game here tonight at Baltimore, facing one of the great ones, Jim Palmer. How's he done against the Baltimore right-hander?
Well, I think over the years that I've been in the major leagues, I've done pretty well against Jim Palmer. I know exactly the way he's going to pitch me. I know in certain situations what type of pitches he's going to throw me. So I just walk up there and he tries to outfox me and I try to outfox him, and hopefully, I can come out ahead.
The old guessing game. I know, Wes Sparky, you can identify with outfoxing a pitcher.
The thing that's so beautiful, last time up he hit the ball to left field. This time up he was looking for the ball inside and he got it.
Tying run at first, 1 out. Downing pops it up, center of the diamond. They converge at the mound. The Sensei makes the catch. That's where the pitcher has to yell out who he wants to catch it.
Now this looks really exciting, but don't forget, even if this ball is dropped, somebody's going to pick it up, they'll get a force out at second. So it really doesn't matter. Somebody has to take charge. The Sensei does it. And again, the wind blows the ball a little bit towards the right field line, so that's creating some problems.
The only thing is, Wes, there, that like Dick said, the pitcher's got to call it, because if they do collide, you could get somebody hurt real bad, and they couldn't afford in the first game of the playoffs to lose either one of those guys.
Bobby Gritchup, he walked his last time up, 0 for 1 tonight.
You know, Dick, I think another important thing is in the last 2 innings, Palmer has been doing, like you said, he's been running that fastball back in on guys. That's the reason he's been popping so many people up.
Jim Fregosi talking with one of the Angel equipment men. It's been looking at the scorebook, you can see the change in Palmer's pitching. He threw a lot of ground balls the first 3 innings, but 5 of the last 6 outs have been pop flies or fly balls. Carew goes, and it's fouled away. Now the Angels have Carew running. He, Baylor, and Lansford are the 3 men Fregosi will give the steal sign to.
I'm almost surprised there, Dick, that Bobby Grich wouldn't take 1 strike to let that runner have a chance to steal and get into scoring position. Because being a right-handed hitter, you can see that runner going. And if you just take that one strike, now you still have 2 more to drive him home if he steals the base.
We're in the top of the 6th inning, 3-2 Baltimore. 1-1. You can see that bandaged hand, Carew, to protect the right hand, sprained wrist, and that combined with the one that isn't bandaged, that's not the bad hand. The bad hand is the thumb, the left thumb, that bothers him. Talk about having a disastrous game. On June 1st, the Angels played the Cleveland Indians. In the same game, Carew sprained his thumb, was out a month and a half, and Rick Miller broke a hand in the same game. Driven to left center field, but there's Kelly. Can't get it. Carew around third. And he scores on a double by Gritch. It's tied at 3, and Gritch is able to come back and at least take some of the sting out of that error.
This makes him feel a lot better. Now Kelly makes a diving try. I guess he missed it by about a foot. It's a good attempt. That ball was drilled up the alley. That's going to be a tough play no matter what.
Gentlemen, we have a great game going. Tied at 3. We're in the 6th inning. And with 2 out, another look. Boy, that was ever so close.
It's a game of inches.
Larry Harlow, the batter. Harlow grounded out and struck out.
Jimmy threw him all fastballs last time up, Dick, and he's starting right back with it again. He's just throwing that high heater.
3-3 tie, 6th inning. 1-1. The Angels have out-hit the Orioles 6-2. But the Orioles have 2 unearned runs and scored their 3rd run without the aid of a hit. That's what makes this Baltimore club so tough. It isn't just the Angels. They did this all season long. They manufacture runs in surprising ways. 2-1. The Oriole bullpen is busy. The action pitch, 2 balls and a strike. Well, it's got to be frustrating for the hitter. You almost know you're going to get the high pass ball and you can't make contact.
First, you have to make it be a strike, and the second thing, you've got to have a great top hand. Whichever's the top hand on the bat has to really come around and get on top of that ball.
Frank Robinson, he looks at ease in the dugout. Again, ball up in the letters. 3rd strikeout for Palmer. 2nd time he's gotten Harlow. A run on a pair of Angel hits. They leave 1. Middle of the 6th inning. Game is even at 3.
Dodge announces the truck and van rebate countdown. Get a full-size pickup, a Dodge van, or a Ram Charger, and a $400 check to go with it. But put it in gear, the countdown is on. Chrysler has given dealers the biggest cash incentives in Chrysler's history. Big discounts they can pass on to you on Dodge trucks and vans. But hurry, the countdown is on. Get a great deal and a $400 check. The countdown is on.
Hey, how was the monster that ate Tokyo?
It made me scared. It made me hungry.
Then you're going for a burger?
Have you seen the price of burgers lately?
We're going to Kentucky Fried Chicken.
At the Colonel's, I know we always get fresh quality chicken.
Now, this is a good meal at a price that makes good sense. Right, son?
Right.
It's so nice to feel. So good about a meal. So good about Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Say, babe, did you know B.F. Goodrich has the best-selling line of high-performance radios?
No kidding.
You know they're the most dependable radios Goodrich ever made?
No kidding.
You know the Goodrich blimp is over the stadium?
No kidding.
Get out! Goodrich doesn't have a blimp.
No kidding.
Where are the other guys? B.F. Goodrich, the leader in high-performance radials.
This series features two of the men battling for the Most Valuable Player award. Ken Singleton is one of the candidates. We asked the Baltimore right fielder who he would vote for.
Don Baylor.
Why?
I think that he had a super year and the type of man that he is, and I know what he meant to the Angels, and I think that he carried them all the way. This far, at least.
Well, Singleton with that laugh maybe telling us something as he steps in leading off the Orioles' 6th inning. But paying a high compliment to a man with whom he is battling for a very high honor, MVP of his league.
Well, Dick, what he said about Don Baylor being an outstanding person, he is one of the finest people in professional sports, but also Ken Singleton is too.
You say nice things about everyone, Sparky.
No, I don't say nice things about everyone, but I think people that are watching baseball or watching any sport should know the guys that are good people.
You're right. I'm putting you on. You are an optimist, and you're a very positive guy. And it's true that you don't become leaders of a team if you're not only strong, but good people.
I just think young kids should know that you can make a lot of money and you can be very popular and all that, but you also can be a nice person.
Out of play, and it's 2-1 to Singleton. He has struck out and walked. 3-3 the score. Nolan Ryan has allowed the Orioles but 2 hits. An RBI double by Dempsey and a single that scored a run by Belanger. And there it is again. 2 hits, and they both drove in runs. Move to left. Harlow. 1 away. And, of course, as that ball sliced more and more toward the corner, it became a more dangerous drive.
He gets jammed a little bit. This ball got in on Singleton. Now, sometimes he's strong enough to hit the ball out the opposite way. This ball just got in on his hands too much. He couldn't pound it out.
And Harlow, who used to play with the Orioles, had the advantage of knowing that corner. You can run into concrete in a big hurry when you go toward that foul line here at Memorial Stadium. Murray, 2 times up, 2 strikeouts. Ryan hits the corner.
Eddie doesn't pull the ball that much. He'll hit his home runs straight away, left center, right center. He hammers them when he hits them.
Well, I'll bet in your ballpark, Tiger Stadium, Detroit, when he hits some of those mammoth high drives that you got to go up and repaint the roof.
He makes it smaller than it is.
Foul ball. That shows you how strong he is. He hit that ball right off his knuckles and still lined it hard to right.
This looks almost like a changeup. Looked like the first real off-speed pitch that Noli's thrown that wasn't a breaking ball. And you can see how that ball will hook. Every time when you hit a ball down the line, it'll hook over towards the line in that way.
Dale Ford, the umpire, did a good job of staying away from it. Just missed. 1 and 2.
You know, Dick, how would you like to be throwing a 2-hitter going into the 6th, 1 out in the 6th, 2-hitter, and you're tied 3-3?
He knows the feeling. That old line that Drysdale was traveling ahead of Koufax on a night that Koufax pitched the no-hitter.
Yeah.
He got into New York or someplace, got off the plane, and the writers were all there and said, "Can we have a quote from you, Don? Sandy Koufax pitched a no-hitter tonight." And the first question Drysdale asked was, did he win?
That's when we had a team batting average of about 230.
Earl Weaver. Pitching coach Ray Miller next to Weaver. 2-2 pitch. Ryan thought he had him. So did Bobby Knopp there with manager Jim Fregosi. And you can see the young Angel skipper barking out at plate umpire Barnett. That looked like a pretty good pitch. 3-2 to Murray.
you get a guy up here like this, you want everything. 6 inches on either side because you know he can hurt you.
Ryan's speed has dropped 3 miles an hour, and he walked him. Ryan has walked his third man.
If you see on that pitch there, Dick, he got way over the top. He got much higher up than he normally gets on that pitch, and that's the reason the ball just broke high and away from him.
Murray doesn't steal a lot of bases, but
watch
has
him when he
good
gets
speed.
to the top. You'll see, look, he's starting to fall already. He got way over the top, and the ball just took off away from him.
Yeah, pitching delivery isn't unlike a golf swing, is it?
Well, Tom Seaver always describes that, and I love to listen to Tom talk about pitching. He says you get away from yourself, within yourself. As long as you stay within yourself, you got body control.
Pat Kelly has grounded out. He walked to lead off the 4th inning and scored, and he lines a single to left. Murray stops at second, and here come the Orioles. They're flapping their wings again.
Dick, here we go again with Earl Weaver, what Wes was talking about. He hit 111 against California, 305 off of Ryan, and there it is. That's that base hit.
He believes in statistics, and he likes to see individual against individual, and after all, that's the charm of this game, the drama between the man in that center circle and what he does or doesn't do with the guy up there with the lumber in his hands. The other players kind of are the company, but that's where it all happens.
You know what's funny? When Baltimore's hitting, Earl always sits. When the other team's up, he's always standing and walking.
Well, he's on his perch here with the Orioles up. We'll see if he starts pacing in the next inning. Lee May. He has struck out twice. Has 2 men on. 1 out. Last of the 6th, a 3-all tie. Well, those spaces tell the story.
Now it's worth a try. Anytime you can pick somebody off base, especially somebody in scoring position, that is a big relief to a pitcher. What you said, Dick, about the battle between pitcher and hitter, that is actually it. That's why we talk so much about pitches and location.
Could be 2. Lansford, fly pickup. Gritch back to first in time. Gritch had trouble locating the ball in his glove, but Lansford with a pretty play to set up the double play. No runs, 1 hit, and 1
Look
left.
at him here, Dick, how he gets down into the ground. This way, I mean, look at that's a tough play. People don't realize what a great play that is.
And Gritch finally finds the ball, and it's an inning-ending double play. After 6 innings, the game is even, and 3 aside. We'll be back after these messages from your local station.
Thursday, Buck Rogers lands on a 25th century Las Vegas.
You the welcome wagon?
To rescue a kidnapped woman. But the stakes skyrocket as Buck tries to save her life.
Love your dog, but hate the high cost of feeding him? Then buy the big bag of Big Red from Agway. If you need a complete food for your dog, buy the big bag of Big Red and save. Big Red is loaded with vitamins and minerals for a balanced diet. So buy the big bag of Big Red. Save money, save shopping trips. See the full line of Big Red at your local Agway store. Big Red, a big name in dog food for over 40 years.
Let's talk about tomorrow. Dreams you're dreaming today. Let's talk about tomorrow. We can help you find a way. Let's talk at the Great Bank. Talk at the State Bank of Albany. State Bank of Albany. State Bank of Albany.
Right now, at any Price Chopper, you can register to win one of 8 free family trips to Disney World, including free round-trip airfare via Eastern Airlines. Or you may win one of 8 free Magnavox color TVs, or one of 8 free Magnavox black and white TVs. Why is Price Chopper doing all this? Because it's our 8th anniversary, and it's our way of saying thanks for 8 great years.
We're Price Chopper, and we do more.
The Guinness Game, Saturday at 1 on TV6.
Now I know how George Washington felt, surrounded by redcoats. Sparky Anderson.
I can't get away from red.
It's a 3-3 tie after 6 innings. Go down to the final 3, and we got a great ball game, gentlemen. 3 runs, 6 hits in air for the Angels. 3-0 for the Orioles. Anderson then the top of the Angel batting order in the top of the 7th against Jim Palmer.
It's almost like the playoff games we've been watching, Dick, like the Cincinnati-Pittsburgh games. You feel that momentum keep shifting back and forth.
Your team gets ahead by 2 runs, and that's been it, except for Sargent's home run, the 3-run homer in the 11th. You know, everything's been tight.
You were saying earlier how baseball this year drawn 43 million. I think if you watch those 2 games that they played over in the National League and this one, now we know why.
Playoff drama from Baltimore. 1-1 to Anderson. Popped up. Dempsey back. Anderson fouls out to the Baltimore catcher, Rick Dempsey. Every time I see a catcher come back, I recall the old-timers who relate Bill Dickey, the great catcher with the Yankees. They said at Yankee Stadium, if he took off the mask, you were out.
Yeah, there's some guys who are like that. Well, Johnny Bench is almost that way, and Roseborough was an outstanding catcher.
Know exactly where that screen is. They don't even bother if it's going to be on the net.
Well, I seen Bench West, and if he took off the mask, you were out.
Rick Miller, 1 for 3. You saw the number of pitches, Sparky. Ryan already over 100, and Palmer a bit more than he'd normally throw. He's closing in on 100.
The thing I'm amazed with, though, Dick, is how well Palmer's throwing. You know, his man has had a lot of trouble this year, and he's just throwing extremely well tonight.
And with so little effort, Sparky, that's the thing. He is so smooth out there.
That's, again, why I say, you know, everybody said, why would he pitch Palmer? Earl knows what he's doing.
2 strikes the count. Remains 0-2. Miller with a strong finish this year. You know, after he injured his hand, broke his hand, he came back. He said, I couldn't swing. It hurt my hand. He said, I became a better hitter. I didn't try to hit the ball hard. I never could hit home runs anyway, but it made me just try to make contact. Slow breaking ball. Palmer doesn't throw it for a strike that often, but he lets you see it, and that's going to be tough on your timing. Hit to left, Pat Kelly. Miller hit it on the nose, but Kelly makes the catch 2 away.
Here's an interesting shot. You get to look right in from really behind the outfielder. You see what he is seeing. A line drive can be the toughest play for an outfielder. This ball will hook a little to the right. Kelly giving ground and makes a good play. If the ball's hit right at you, that's really the toughest one.
2 out. Carney Lansford 0 for 2. He hit the ball well last time up, but got under it and fly to left center. Excuse me, and Palmer has the easy 1-3 put out. They're up on their feet in Baltimore. Stretch ahead to the 7th, and they'll see DeCinces, Dower, and Dempsey. 3 Ds in the bottom of the 7th, a 3-all tie.
RCA wants you to see the right color. Does your television automatically capture all the subtle shades of difference between this surfer in deep blue, this blue surfboard, and the blue Hawaiian surf? If not, wait till you see color, even color this close on Color Track 1980. Color Track 1980, with 8 automatic color systems designed to lock even subtle shades of color on track. RCA is making television better and better.
Why have over 1 million people Midas-sized their brakes? Was it because they know Midas has brake mechanics that are specially trained? Was it because they know Midas has the right brake parts in stock? Or was it because they know Midas has over 20 years' experience under the car? Well, whatever the reason, it certainly was no accident. It pays to Midas-size your brakes.
Action photography is easy with the Minolta XG1 35mm reflex.
Hi, I'm Christy Jenner. I just focus and touch this electronic button to give me great pictures automatically.
The XG loads easily, too. This signal shows me that the film is loaded properly, and the electronic self-timer lets us get into our own pictures. Minolta XG1, the automatic choice for action photography.
On his way to the Hall of Fame, Frank Robinson. He is the only man who has ever hit a ball completely out of Memorial Stadium. Down the left field foul line, about 20 feet there, he hit one over those bleachers. The only man to do it.
Yeah, but Dick, that was a golf ball he hit. He tricked you. He didn't hit no baseball.
A real baseball.
Oh, my goodness.
We go to the last of the 7th inning.
Cut that up, you get 10 base hits out of it.
Doug DeCinces, Rich Stour, and Rick Dempsey, number 7, 8, and 9 in the Baltimore Orioles order. Against Ryan, a 3-3 tie. DeCinces safe on the air by Gritch and a sacrifice fly to right. DeCinces, man after my own heart. How many times did you break your nose, Wes Parker? Did you ever break it?
One time.
How about you, Sparky?
Well, I couldn't break this big thing.
I got it twice, but DeCinces, 5 times he's broken his nose.
He's really been hurt by having injured his back, Dick, because his stats were going up every year. He started with 11 home runs, then 19, then 28 last year to lead the team. He was cut down to 16. And you get a look at the new nose of Doug DeCinces.
1 ball, 2 strikes.
And he is really coming into his own. Next year he'll pick up again.
That's a tough play. Lansford got him. Oh my! We're going to have our first argument. Here comes Weaver.
I don't know about this call. First, let's have a look at Earl Weaver. He may go into his little act here.
Ball was made by Dale Ford, the first base umpire. It was a great play by Lansford to even make it close, and Weaver says he's safe.
You're right about that, Dick. That was a great play to even make it close.
A check swing with Lansford playing deep with 2 strikes on the hitter.
Okay, now let's have a look. Carney coming in. He was playing pretty deep, and now he takes a couple of steps and really zips the ball over. Hard to tell on that shot.
All right, Sparky, you take a look.
I'll tell you, I still don't believe he got rid of the ball with that much on it, but... Oh, I'm going to tell you, I think he got him. I think he's in the air still. I'll be truthful. I think he's still in the air.
Let's try it from this side, Spark.
Ryan's pitch as we get back to live action. Ball 1 to Rich Stour. Boy, they got angles on angles here as we saw that one from all sides. Close play, but it appeared with the naked eye that he was safe, but he wasn't. There's a base hit by Dower. But when you replay it, it appears that Ford made a tough but a good call.
You know, Dick, what we were talking about, you see how low Connie came in there and on the run got that much on the ball. And that's what I mean. When you talk about good-looking young infielders, you don't see no better plays than that.
Dower has the 4th Oriole hit.
Here's Jimmy Anderson. He tries to flag this one down. And you sometimes miss that, the effort that went into that if you follow the ball.
1 out single by Dower. The Orioles, the go-ahead run at first, 1 out. Rick Dempsey has doubled off the left field wall and sent a long fly ball to right. Ryan does not have a good move to first, and has a high leg kick, so runners like to steal.
He only has one advantage. His ball gets to the plate real fast.
And Dower is not really a threat to steal, Dick. He only tried it one time all year and was thrown out.
Well, that's really where the anchor, isn't it?
Well, you have to be careful here about one thing, though, Dick. You got one out. They're not afraid to hit and run here because even if they would hit in a double play or they throw him out, they got Blumry leading off next inning.
Oh, Dempsey was going to try to drop a bunt and almost walked into that chin-high fastball.
Yes,
he was glad he had a bat in his hand.
You bet. That is so dangerous. You are really helpless when you square around a push bunt or try to drag for a bunt hit because your feet are not in position to dodge out of the way.
Wes, I saw Doug Griffin, when he was a member of the Boston Red Sox, in a play just like that, stepped in and he just froze and got hit right in the face with a Ryan fastball, and it really was the end of his career. He never came back.
There's nothing you can do, Dick. You've committed yourself.
0-2 the count. And yet, the pitch really was almost a strike inside. It was off the inside corner. It wasn't that bad a pitch, but you get yourself squared around and you're over that inside corner. And I think, knowing Nolan Ryan, that he might have been even a better pitcher, except that he's really afraid to be wild inside. I mean, really wild. When he's wild, he's usually wild away.
Well, thank goodness, Dick. What if he wanted to pitch inside?
He's not mean. He certainly is not a mean pitcher.
Well, let's hope. I'm glad his mother and father didn't have a mean son.
That's right. Your club's going to have to face him again next year. Of course, maybe Ryan is playing out his option. He might be in another league next year. Some think he's already in another league.
Yeah, I think he is. I think his ball might smart a little, too.
Really, his potential, his ability is just beyond any league here. He is his own worst enemy.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Rick Dempsey. And Ryan high with the curveball. What does that tell you if you're watching him from the dugout?
That means to me that his legs are getting a little tired and he's not being able to bend and get over and follow through. His legs might be getting a little tired on him, although he has strong legs.
A 3-3 tie in the 7th. Ball 3. Misses again with a curveball.
Dick, he's throwing more breaking balls in the last 2 innings, so you know he's losing a little bit off his fastball.
Well, if you're Dempsey now, you almost have to look fastball, don't you, Wes? 3-2. He just missed with 2 curves.
I'd start the runner myself. I'd have the runner moving, and I would definitely look for a fastball. If he does throw the curve and strike you out, you'll probably steal the base on the breaking ball.
Dower goes. Line to center. Miller could be a double play. They bluff the runner. Here comes the throw. Double play. A great bluff at second base by Bobby Grich, or was it Jimmy Anderson? They were there bluffing the runner as if they had a ground ball double play, and they turned it into an 8-3 double play. End of 7 in Baltimore. The Orioles 3 and the California Angels 3.
Most ball players dream about making it to the Hall of Fame. But I'd be satisfied if people just remember me as the guy with the great chewing tobacco. That's Levi Garrett, my brand. Sure, I've tried a lot of other brands in my time, but once you taste this fresh Levi Garrett flavor, you'll see why it's one of the fastest growing brands of loose leaf chewing tobacco in the country. After all, fame is a fleeting thing, but with Levi Garrett, you're always a winner.
You survey where the land is wild and unforgiving, filling in empty places on maps that until now have been almost unknown. But now comes Miller time. Time to head for the best tasting beer you can find, Miller High Life.
If you got the time, we've got the beer. Miller Beer.
Miller Beer. On Sports World, China's top female gymnasts challenge an international field, including American Olympic hopeful Sandy Worth in China Invitational Gymnastics Saturday.
Back to the last of the 7th inning. Here's the fly ball hit by Dempsey to center, and Rick Miller turns it into a double play.
Dick, what the runner can do to avoid this, he really shouldn't get into a double play in a situation like this. He can pick up the third base coach, or as he's running down towards second, just take a quick look toward home plate and see where that ball is going to be hit. It really doesn't slow you down that much to turn your head just a quarter turn to the left and look in at the hitter.
Sparky,
well,
what do you
I
tell
agree
your
with
kids?
Wes there, Dick. You know, it's great for those infielders to fake them, but you can look at that third base coach. He's going to point up for you or down for you, so you can do it. But I like Wes' second way. You take a glance halfway down. There should never be no excuse to be doubled on a ball like that.
All right. Dan Ford will start the 8th inning for the California Angels. He'll be followed by Don Baylor and Rod Carew. So Jim Palmer facing 3 tough outs. Ford has a home run in the first, an RBI double in the third, and grounded out to second in the 5th inning.
Now Palmer's still staying away from him. I don't think he wants to come in and take a chance on a home run. The ball that he did hit out, I thought was down the middle, but Jim's pitching him as though that ball had been inside.
He hung a slider but got away with it. Just off the corner, 1-1. Palmer wanted that pitch.
I'm just amazed, Dick, how he's throwing going into the 8th inning here. He's thrown extremely well all night.
Both bullpens are busy. Fly to center field. Bunbury right there. One away. Jim Fregosi does not have the bench that he enjoyed sometimes this year. Joe Rudy, always a clutch hitter. Achilles tendon, has been out the last month of the year, will not play in the series. He's not even eligible. And Willie Aikens, sensational year, 21 home runs, 80 RBIs. Knee surgery 2 weeks ago. Don Baylor, look at that statistic on Baylor. 36 home runs. He struck out only 51 times this year. Playing him on the line, and they get him.
You know, Dick, that's what we've been talking about, Wes, you and me. Here's a ball club that's got 4 hits. They're tied 3-3. You're going into the 8th inning. You see how well the ball right down the line. They're guarding the lines. They know exactly how to play. And you watch the Angel ball club when they go out there, they're going to do exactly the same.
That's right.
These 2 ball clubs, Wes, are really defensively trained well.
I think so. I love to see good defensive play, and that's the strategy here. You hear about clubs placing their first and third baseman on the foul lines late in the game, tie game, or 1-run lead or something, and that's exactly why. This way you force the team to, let's say, get 3 singles to score rather than a double and a single.
That had been a double earlier in the game, no doubt about it. So 2 out, 8th inning, tied at 3, and each pitch now is so very important for both sides. Rod Carew, a single and a double, 2 for 3, scored a run. Good cut. Carew doubled to lead off the 4th, but Palmer stranded him at 3rd. He was there with 1 out, but Palmer struck out Harlow and fouled out Anderson to end the inning. But in the 6th inning, Carew singled and with 2 outs scored from first on Bobby Gritch's double to deep left center. That tied the game at 3.
And when you have really a great pitcher and a great hitter facing each other, it becomes a game of guessing, of adjusting and guessing what's he going to throw now. And Palmer, of course, is guessing what is Carew looking for. There's no pitch that Carew cannot hit, and there's no pitch that Palmer cannot throw.
Boy, Dick, the big thing right here, Jimmy Fregosi and Earl Weaver are doing one thing. This is the 8th inning, 2 out. If he gets Carew out, that means now Baltimore gets 6 out for 3 the rest of the game.
Another base hit for Carew. Oh, what a stroke.
You know, I was in that other league all those years, and you hear about the Palmer and the Carews and the Baylors, and then you get over and you find out, you know, they can really play.
2-out single by Rod Carew in the 8th inning as we pause briefly for station identification. This is the NBC Television Network.
WRGB TV6 Schenectady.
Welcome back back to Baltimore's Memorial Stadium. Game 1 of the American League Championship Series. Dick Enberg, Wes Parker, Sparky Anderson. The Angels scored a run in the first on Ford's home run. Ford's double made it 2-0 in the third. 200 runs for the Orioles, tied it in the third. They went ahead without the aid of a base hit, 3-2 in the fourth. The Angels tied it in the sixth. We're in the eighth inning. Rod Carew has just singled, and Rod Carew going. He's out. Rick Dempsey shoots him down.
Dick, well, I'm going to tell you, you have to play against Rick Dempsey to realize how good a catcher he is. He's got a super arm, doesn't he, Sparky? And great release, Wes. I'll tell you, he is one of the outstanding defensive catchers in baseball. Johnny Bench, of course, Steve Yeager with Los Angeles. He reminds me a lot of Jerry Grody that used to be with the Mets.
And a great tag by Rich Dower, and the Angels are gone in the eighth inning. Baltimore's turn. They're tied at 3.
I got my start playing golf, driving a tractor.
Arnold Palmer, back home in Latrobe, Pennsylvania.
My father was pro here, but before he taught me to play golf, he taught me to treat the equipment right. So, we used Pennzoil, and I think that old tractor of ours lasted 30 years or more. Look, if Pennzoil and I hadn't taken good care of the equipment, I might have never gotten on the golf course.
Pennzoil, America's asked-for motor oil.
Ram power. Dodge gives you Ram power.
Now Dodge pickups go beyond tough. They're Ram tough. The biggest maximum payloads. More than Ford or Chevy. The most brute power with its most fuel-efficient V8. And with optional 3-speed automatic. The best mileage ratings, too. More than Ford or Chevy. Now,
Dodge trucks are Ram tough.
This is the bench. Every ball player spends at least half his career right here, working on equipment, going over the hitters, or just relaxing. And when I relax, I reach for Copenhagen, the smokeless tobacco. Just a pinch between my cheek and gum gives me rich tobacco flavor without lighting up, or tying up my hands. So try Copenhagen, or for you fellas just starting out, mild happy days, tobaccos you enjoy without lighting up. See you, bench.
Wild Bill, they call him. He usually is occupying a seat in the upper right field bleachers. He is the resident cheerleader here in Baltimore. He spells out Orioles by using his body language to spell out each letter. And he has literally captivated the fans in Baltimore. While we were away, he had 50,000 people at his total command.
That's right.
It was like a college crowd, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. Usually you expect to see a guy leading cheers for a little segment of people where he's standing, but the entire crowd was tuned into this guy.
O-R-I-O-L, yes. New pitcher for the Angels, John Montague, has taken over for Nolan Ryan. Montague, acquired from the Seattle Mariners late in the year, and without him, the Angels would not be here. His ERA is high, but he came and saved a couple right off the bat when the Angels bullpen was really decimated. He faces Bunbury, Belanger, and Singleton in the Oriole eighth. Two and one. Nolan Ryan, 7 innings, 3 runs, 1 earned. 4 hits, 3 walks, 8 strikeouts. Ryan pitched well, but that one costly error kept him in a tie.
He threw a lot of pitches too, Dick. 121, I believe, and that's about the time when you start to get tired. Last inning, you could almost see it on the curveball. Sparky was talking about how he had that curve up high.
Montague is a sinker-slider pitcher, isn't he?
Sinker-slider, Dick, and like you said, he done a super job when he came over the Angels.
Harlow, almost ran by that line drive, tailing toward the left field corner.
This ball is cutting back. Otherwise, it would have been a tougher play. If a right-hander hits the same ball, it'll go up the alley.
The left-hand hitter, that ball's going to slice back to the left fielder. Almost ran past it because of the way that ball was cutting towards the line.
Mark Belanger, 1 for 3. It was a big RBI single that tied the game in the third inning. Montague, in 14 appearances with the Angels, 2 wins and 6 saves. So 8 out of the 14 games in which he appeared, he had a hand in winning. Well, that's really coming through in 1 month's time.
He did a tremendous job.
Ball 2. Check that. 1 ball, 1 strike. Montague grew up in the Oriole organization and went to the National League. Slides it outside, 2-1. Played with the Expos and Phillies. Wound up in Seattle and purchased by the Angels when their bullpen had injury after injury. 2-2.
You know, Dick, these are situations you hate for a manager because, as I said before, you're in the bottom of the 8th tie game and you have 5 outs yet. Baltimore's got 5 outs against the Angels 3, and Jimmy knows that sitting over in that dugout. He's in a tough situation right now.
Grounded to Gritch. And the 4-time Gold Glove winner while in Baltimore knows the area, and there's 2 gone. Here comes the money man, Ken Singleton, and with him 35 regular season home runs. He's up there just going to unbutton that shirt.
And also, Baltimore is right in the middle of their lineup now. Even if they get Singleton out, next inning he's got Murray, May. The census all coming up where California has set in 6, 7, 8.
Singleton has walked, struck out, and flied out. He lines it right at Anderson. Oh, my. 2 line drive outs for the Orioles in the 8th inning as they go in order against Montague. For the Angels, top of the 9th, it'll be Brian Downing, Bobby Gritch, and Larry Harlow. We'll be back.
When you play the Gillette World Series baseball game, you can win $10,000.
That ball is going.
And a brand new Chrysler. Win a new Dodge Omni.
Here's the throw.
Win cars, cash, and save over $10 on Gillette products. See magazines for cash savings and details. Then go to Gillette displays and stores and see if you've won.
What a ball game.
The World Series baseball game from Gillette.
Eaton helps this corn get the rain it needs every day in just the right amount. This center pivot irrigation system delivers it, regular as clockwork, in circles half a mile across. Eaton keeps it moving with lightweight hydraulic motors. Dirt and moisture don't bother them, so they keep running and running, increasing productivity to meet the needs of a changing world. That's one of the ways Eaton profits from change.
Preceding announcement furnished by Major League Baseball. Now, all of us here in Baltimore want to congratulate Joe Garagiola, Tony Kubek, and Don Sutton. Great job in those first 2 games of the National League playoffs, and what outstanding action that was as Pittsburgh, twice in extra innings, defeats the Cincinnati Reds. We'll see Game 3 from Pittsburgh on Friday afternoon. NBC bringing you more of the drama of the playoffs, American League side. Game 1 tonight here in Baltimore. We're in the 9th inning, tied at 3. Brian Downing.
All I can say, Dick, so far is that there's been a lot of gel yourself by 4 managers.
That's part of, along with the bats and balls, you better bring that along. Fouled away, and Palmer has Downing in the hole. Downing hasn't been able to get out of the infield tonight. He's rounded out twice and popped up.
So interesting, Dick, to see Danny Ford with that close stance. Then you see Brian Downing, the exact opposite stance, wide open, about as open as any hitter you'd ever want to see. They are just the two extremes in hitting.
For a while, they were batting back-to-back in the order. You saw the 180-degree swing. Downing, you watch him as that pitch comes. He moves that front foot almost straight away.
Yeah, he really comes right back to square. He just starts that way. He does this because he says he can see through his glasses better rather than seeing through the rim of the glasses.
1-2. Belanger. One away. Bobby Grich comes up. He's lined out walk, knocked in a run with a double. But the big play in the game remains the drop pop fly by Grich back in the third. Here it is. DeCinces popping it down the right field line. Carew calls, gives way to Grich. Grich comes over, seems to have it, goes right off his fingertips. And that opened the gates for the Orioles, who then scored 2 unearned runs. Grich has made some amends. He's driven in 1 run. And the game is tied at 3. 1 out in the 9th. I didn't believe anyone in the booth thought that Palmer would be around in the 9th inning after all the talk of his arm problems and his shoulder.
I never thought so, to be truthful with you. I thought that probably the game plan, Dick, was to go 6 innings, maybe 7 at the most, around 100 pitches, and then either go to Stewart or, of course, to Stanhouse. But I guess Earl didn't want to go for full pack right now.
Stanhouse, nicknamed Full Pack, for the number of cigarettes that Weaver smokes every time he comes in to pitch. Palmer's thrown 115 pitches to this one. 1-1.
You know, Weaver has such a desire to win, Dick. He never made it to the major leagues as a player, spent a whole bunch of time in the minor leagues, never got above Double-A. But he's been a winner. Even in the minor leagues, he was a big winner.
1-2.
In fact, he was the most valuable player in his league 3 out of the first 4 years he played in the minor leagues. And when he came up to the major leagues, he won division titles 5 out of the first 6 years up here as a manager. So he's really never known anything but winning. And he does not like to lose.
You know, Wes, as you said, a writer asked me, we were in here for their last homestand. He said, who's the most valuable player of the Orioles? I said, Earl Weaver.
2-2. There he goes. He's not sitting down. The Angels are up, and Earl can hardly stand it. Anyone who's ever even watched their own child perform knows the feeling. You almost want to hide and not look. Ball 3. Earl Weaver paces a little more in the dugout.
Well, I'll tell you, Dick, he'll pace, but he's got everything under control, and I think it's kind of a good luck charm with him. I notice he's always standing when the opposing team's hitting, he's setting with his club. I think he crosses his leg one way, holds that left foot. It's all good luck charms.
Full count. Foul ball on a check swing. There are times we look in the dugout and you can't find Earl Weaver. Where does he go?
Well, they tell me, Dick, that every now and then he'll rush down the steps and yell back, what happened? What happened?
He'll go down there and let off some of that frustration.
3-2 to Bobby Grich. 9th inning. A 3-3 tie in Baltimore. 1 up. On the right field line, Singleton. Grich, who has good power to right field, reaching out and driving Singleton to the warning path for the 2nd out. And now it's Larry Harlow. So Palmer has gotten around the 2 tough hitters in the inning, Downing and Grich. Harlow's a man that has caused him no trouble, an easy ground ball to first, and he struck out the last 2 times. Looking ahead to the 9th inning for Baltimore, it'll be Eddie Murray, Pat Kelly, and Lee May.
If you really watch Palmer, you can see that he pitches hitters differently. He doesn't pitch each hitter the same way. He breaks his pattern up all the time. He knows each hitter's weakness.
2.
You know, Dick, as I said, we were in here for their last series at home, and they finished on the road, and we were here, and everybody was saying, well, how could Weaver select Palmer? Well, tonight is the reason why. The man knows that Jim Palmer can go out in a clutch game like this, and I just can't believe how good he's throwing.
2 strikes on Harlow, who steps out.
He made some big pitches to Bobby Grich, the last hitter, Sparky. Those 3-2 pitches, first the curve blowing away, then a fastball outside to keep him from pulling the ball. He knows Bobby Grich hit 30 home runs this year.
Up high again, hoping Harlow would chase. 1 and 2. 2 out, bases empty in the 9th. Two and 2.
You know, Dick, it's great to watch a great pitcher, and you know, you look at their stats and you follow them for years, and then when you watch them, what I call operate on a person, it's a pleasure to watch great people work. He's a great professional.
Man who has caused him the most trouble is Dan Ford, there to the left of manager Fregosi in the Angel dugout. Ford, a home run and an RBI double. Grounded to short, but Belanger, oh, he doesn't miss him. The Angels are out in the 9th. The Orioles turn, bottom of the 9th. John Montague will face Eddie Murray, Pat Kelly, and Lee May. 3-3 tie.
There's a car frozen in that block of ice, but when we chopped through the ice, the car started on the first try using Shell Fire and Ice motor oil. The same car tows a 30-ton crane through desert heat, but the engine is still protected by Shell Fire and Ice motor oil. Ask for Shell Fire and Ice 10W40 motor oil. Now with the new gas-saving formula, Shell Fire and Ice.
What pictures you could take if life would just stand still and wait for you to focus. But life doesn't wait.
You need the SX70 sonar, the world's smartest camera.
Sound waves whip the lens into precise focus. Now you can have perfect pictures every time in minutes. It's all automatic.
Polaroid's SX70 sonar. Because life doesn't wait for you to focus.
Sheriff Lobo promised them the Texas Cowgirls. What they got was something else.
The Panhandle Pussycats.
And Orly has something to cheer about. Tuesday on NBC. Thursday, Buck Rogers lands on a 25th century Las Vegas.
You with the welcome wagon?
To rescue a kidnapped woman. But the stakes skyrocket as Buck tries to save her life.
Wild Bill has the crowd in a frenzy. There's something about the unification that a sports franchise brings to any community. Every one of these 50,000, actually 52,787, they're all brothers. They're all in the same family, and now they're gathering their force behind the Orioles in the bottom of the 9th.
This will be the critical inning for the Angels. It's the first chance for Baltimore to just go right out and win it outright. If they can stop them here and get into an extra inning contest, they've got a chance.
Eddie Murray wears the score of the game on his uniform. 3-3. Angels with 1 in the first, 1 in the third. Orioles tied at 2 in the third. Went ahead 3-2 in the fourth without the aid of a hit. Angels tied it in the sixth. Montague in relief of Ryan, his second inning. Ball 2. Murray struck out twice and walked facing Ryan. It's kind of hard to swallow at this point, doesn't it?
It's awful tough, Dick.
Brought it over the outside corner, 2-1.
Murray's just waiting for one ball. He wants one pitch to try to drive it. That's the reason he wouldn't chase that ball down and away.
Two. Jim Palmer. Wonder if he's talking about his own fastball or Montague's, the way he motioned that riding sign. Ball 3. Meanwhile, pitching coach Larry Sherry, it's almost as if in the tension you get as far away from the field as you can. Sitting way against the wall, leaning as far back as you can. Frank Tanana, the left of your picture, he'll be the starter in Game 3 in Anaheim. 3-2. All 4. Well, I guess you have to walk before you can fly if you're an Oriole. And they've got the winning run at first.
Oh, boy. Dick, if they think these here Oriole fans are wild, wait till you get out of Anaheim. They'll show them how to get wild.
I'll tell you what, you can imagine right now there's a lot of pacing going on out there collectively, and we're going to have more of the same when the scene shifts on Friday night to Anaheim Stadium.
I would look for the bunt right here, Dick, although Eddie Murray has stolen 9 out of 11. I think the safe way to go about this is just to try and bunt him over.
Well, I would figure Weaver will play to win it. Oh! And it gets away. And Downing able to save a base.
He started to go. Eddie Murray, he saw it, had a notion, and then played it safe. But he had a little start towards second, then decided against it. That ball just sunk on Downing. But he really hustled after it. He saved it.
Meanwhile, Eddie Murray was entertaining thoughts of going.
Watch Murray.
He just couldn't tell how far the ball was away, Dick. That's the only thing. He just couldn't tell.
1-0 to Kelly. Why isn't he sacrificing?
Well, he knows he'll walk May on him, and he just doesn't want May to get walked.
So Earl Weaver not asking Kelly to move the man into scoring position because he wants May to hit. And with the right side open, in this case, you got Carew holding on the runner. That gives Kelly something to shoot at.
They're pitching him outside, too, for that reason. They don't want him to pull that ball.
I was going to bunt that time.
He was going to bunt there, Dick. He changed it. He's giving him a chance. See, the first pitch he gave him a chance to hit at, it was a ball. So he gave him one more chance. I think now he's going to bunt.
2-1. No one out. Winning run at first base, 9th inning. Ooh, Montague slipped as he made his throw and almost sent that one over Carew's head. But Carew comes in to try to ease the tension a bit.
Let's see, he does seem to get his feet tangled up a little bit there. That back foot kind of spins out on him. Causes that ball to go high.
Good pitch by Montague. Oh, Harry Coyle, our director, and Mike Weissman, our producer. Marvelous close-ups. The pictures say all the words here. The faces tell it all. It remains 2-2.
I think what most people think, Dick, that the players are thinking is playing for all that money, but that's not it. All these guys are thinking about is a chance to play in the World Series.
They never talk money about this. This is pride. This means more to them than anything else but pride.
Got him with a sinker away. 1 out.
Looks like Kelly's trying to pull this pitch. And just take a look at the location. Oh, it was not even a strike. It really fooled him. That ball running down and away.
Jim Fregosi, earlier this year, was in the hospital with stomach problems. He's battled a rough intestinal track all season long, but he's maintained a sense of humor even in this tension. He's got some sign on with somebody. What was that all about? Like, should we try to...
Downing's asking if he wants to pitch out. Downing looks at him on every pitch. That's the one thing he does. You watch. See him glance again there?
Strike one. If you watch Downing, number 5, he'll look into the dugout, or maybe he already has.
He'll glance. Not yet. He'll wait. He'll let that coach give his signs down there, and then he'll take same glance. He just glanced over. Right now, he glanced hard again.
Oh. May's a pretty good bad ball hitter, isn't he?
Good. He's just a good hitter if you get inside to him. Dick, if you'll watch Downing, he's an excellent catcher. He'll wait until the coach over here gets done with his signs, then he'll glance into that dugout.
1-1 on May. Winning run at first. Bottom of the 9th inning. 1 out.
Oh,
got him. The road. Anderson. Anderson to Montague. Oh, what a big play as Montague picks him off.
That is a huge play, Dick. He was probably stealing on this pitch, and the Angels guessed right. Got him leaning. He was dead once they threw over there. Take a look at this. You'll see him start to lean. There he starts to go. Now it's just too late. You very seldom get out of a rundown. If it's properly executed, you're just dead meat right now.
Although you don't want your pitcher making the final out if you can help it.
You try not to.
So Lee May up there, he now is thinking about one thing, a home run.
Yeah, see, now watch, he'll give the ball to Anderson, and watch Anderson run him hard. He runs him real hard right back, like Wes said, and the put-out's right there. But you don't like your pitcher to have to make it.
Now the count is 1-2 to Lee May. 2-2. May, 2 strikeouts and a double play. Hardly a good night for the big slugger, but in one swing, he can send everyone home happy. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Can you believe it? We're 1 pitch away from having 3 extra inning games in the first 3 playoff games. Ford and right, and we go overtime. Extra innings in Baltimore. The end of 9. The Angels 3 runs, 7 hits, 1 error. Baltimore 3 runs, 4 hits, no errors. You saw Larry Sherry tell the bullpen to sit down. Boy, it's hard to do that here in Memorial Stadium. Coming up for the Angels in the 10th, Anderson, and the leadoff hitter Rick Miller, followed by Carney Lansford.
Here's to good friends.
The key's supposed to be under the steps.
I got
it. Hey, here's a note. Gentlemen, my country estate is at your disposal. There might even be a little something in the refrigerator. Regards, Hank.
Let it be low and brown.
Low and brown. When you want the taste of a truly great American beer, tonight, let it be low and brown. Here's to Hank.
Wherever he is.
Low and brown. America's most efficient energy system, gas. Some people think we'll be out of it when the 21st century arrives. They're wrong. We can deliver more gas. We'll still be getting large amounts of gas from underground. We plan to increase these supplies with new gas from new sources, like gas made from coal. The future looks bright for new long-term technologies too, but it still makes sense to use gas wisely.
Thursday, Buck Rogers lands on a 25th Century Las Vegas.
You with the welcome wagon?
To rescue a kidnapped woman. But the stakes skyrocket as Buck tries to save her life. Then on Quincy.
I've just been losing babies for weeks now.
A tropical paradise turns into a nightmare because all the children are dying and only Quincy can save them. Quincy, right after Buck Rogers.
Yeah, we were all on Monday night here in Baltimore watching the 17th anniversary celebration of Johnny Carson's Tonight Show. And we were all marveling at the genius of the man. What a tremendous talent he is. And because the ball game's running late tonight, will not have a Johnny Carson Tonight show, but he'll be on tomorrow night. We hope you'll stay tuned after the game for local news, followed by the Tomorrow Show with our buddy Tom Snyder. And, of course, that will be here in the East, Midwest, on the West Coast. We'll have programming, then your local news and the Tomorrow Show. But I'd just like to, on behalf of all of us in the NBC Sports Department, congratulate really an all-star, John Carson, and his great show, and those incredible moments of the 17 years. And what an outstanding Monday night of entertainment that was.
Dick, I just have to agree with you. I watched the show. I've watched Johnny like so many other people for years and years, and the man is so good that you really watch him and you just can't believe it, that anyone could possibly be as smooth and as adept as he is.
All right, to the 10th inning. Don Stanhouse in relief of Jim Palmer. Palmer leaves 9 solid innings, 3 runs, all earned, 7 hits, walked 2, and struck out 3. He threw 124 pitches. Rather amazing in that Palmer said, given an ultimatum, I'll pitch, but I'm not healthy. I don't know why he wanted to pitch me when you've got the left-hander Flanagan 23-game win. In a way, I think he was kind of talking and smiling at the same time. Don't you, Sparky?
I told him yesterday when I was here yesterday, I told him, Dick, I said, I think you're kind of kidding the people a little bit.
Nothing wrong with that arm tonight. A 3-3 tie. Both starters, Palmer and Ryan, pitched very well. Now it's up to the bullpen. And Stanhouse, you saw his mark. He's an outstanding right-hander. Very slow, deliberate. Tends to go 3-2 a lot, and that drives Earl Weaver to the cigarette pack. And he calls Stanhouse full pack because he burns a pack each inning he pitches. He's getting one ready now. Willie Davis, the veteran ex-Dodger, 39 years old, will lead it off for the Angels, batting for Anderson. Davis used sparingly. And, of course, Weaver now checking off Anderson, and he's already thinking ahead. Now, that means he'll have to play another man at short, looking ahead to the next inning, what he might do. 1-1 to Willie D. You were here, Wes, in '66 when the Orioles swept the Dodgers 4 in a row, and that was the series where Davis made that incredible catch in center field to take a home run away.
I'm not sure I want to talk about that series at all, Dick, but he did make an outstanding catch. You're absolutely right. It was against Boog Powell. Oh, it would have been over the fence.
Dodgers saw some pretty good pitching in that series. Foul back, and it's 1-2.
They had some outstanding young arms. Jim Palmer was only 20 years old then. They had Wally Bunker, Dave McNally.
Mo Grabowski had a big game in Los Angeles.
Mo Grabowski pitched probably the greatest game of his lifetime in that first game in relief.
How many runs did you score the last 3 games?
0. 33 consecutive scoreless innings against Baltimore pitching in the World Series.
1-2, and it's upstairs.
Now, Stanhouse has a super arm. He was drafted #1 by Oakland as a third baseman. So he's been converted. He was converted that first year. He went through the Texas organization, through the Montreal organization, before coming over here last year. And last year, Dick, he gave up no home runs. 4 this year, but last year none. So he won't get too many off of him. The interesting thing is, in 1975, he was traded to Montreal for Willie Davis, the man he's facing right now.
That is ironic, isn't it? Grounded off the fist. Belanger with a funny hop. Davis can still run, but Belanger guns him down.
You know, Dick, there's no funny hops to that man.
This ball was hit off the hands, and Willie, who used to just run so fast, isn't quite as quick as he used to be, and they just get him half a step.
Belanger, the best fielding shortstop in the history of the game. No one has fielded as many balls as Belanger and made as few errors.
Well, I'll tell you, I'm almost convinced, like Charlie Dresser used to say about Billy Cox, there's no bad hops to Belanger, no funny balls to him. He gets everything.
1 out. Here's Rick Miller, 1 for 4. Let's just chart out Stanhouse. He went 2-2 before getting Davis, and you've got to really be wild and crazy to walk Davis. He swings. Stanhouse tends to go 3-ball counts on so many hitters, but then he makes his best pitch. Whoa, watch out. Wicked foul ball into the crowd. 1-1 to Miller. That one into the lower deck between the screen and the Oriole dugout. to hit the ball to left, and has done that the last 3 times. Infield hit to short, fly to left, and line to left.
The first and third baseman, Dick, they're right on those lines. They're not having no doubles here.
The Sensei playing in bag high, and he knows he can cover that area. And because Miller doesn't pull the ball much, Murray's a little farther off the line than you might expect, but that's really tight for Miller's style of hitting.
And for Murray, that's tight, Dick, because he's got so much range.
The delay, apparently, that line drive foul ball into the crowd, striking a spectator. And boy, you've got to keep your eye on the ball, whether you're in the game or in the stands. If you're going to be down on that lower deck, you can't take your eye off the ball. 1-1 the count. Up the middle, here's Belanger again. 2 away. Well, we were remarking the marvelous range of Dave Concepcion in the Cincinnati-Pittsburgh series. Well, Belanger gives you the same.
And they've got that great infield behind them, the Baltimore pitching staff. The combination is just so hard to beat. In fact, this Baltimore infield, the last half of last year, made only 8 errors. Now, that's just almost incredible. Belanger just covers that ground so well.
Soft hands and happy feet. Mark Belanger. Arnie Lansford looks at a strike, and Sandhouse, he's picking up where Palmer left off. There just isn't a bad pitcher in an Oriole uniform. You're not going to find anyone easy.
Would you believe in their entire staff they didn't have one pitcher with an ERA over 4?
And you contrast to the Angels' team ERA over 4.3.
I think, Dick, that fullback feels sorry for him. He says that you suffered enough for 9 innings. I'm going to get it over and give him good stuff.
2 strikes on Carney Lansford, who is 0 for 3 in the game. Good pitch, and Lansford just got a piece of it.
He's got a good sinker ball, too. You can see that, especially from the center field camera. When that fastball comes in, it really dives down. And that's why he gives up so few home runs, Dick.
Yeah, Wesley, also talk about Sandhouse, even with that big hairdo and the mustache, and he likes to be called, well, the baseball word is a flake, and he isn't. He just plays out the role. They say that he's about as smart a pitcher. They talk about Palmer and Sandhouse. He knows how to work the hitters. He just likes the idea everyone thinking he's a little out of rhythm with the rest of the club. It isn't. Another good pitch. Kept the breaking ball low and away.
Well, Dick, I'd like to have about 9 flakes if he's a flake, because I'll tell you one thing, he gets people out.
The fan that was injured in the lower deck being helped back to the first aid room. Lady, she is conscious. Apparently struck her side of the face, but is conscious, and apparently it's not a serious injury, and that's good news. 2 out, 2 strikes on Lansford. 10th inning, a 3-3 tie. One and 2.
You notice, too, Dick, he is going right after him, even with the count 0-2. He's not wasting a pitch. We talked about that before, about it. It's so silly to throw a pitch 2 feet outside and call that a waste pitch. You've got to still work around the plate, even though the count is 0-2 in your favor.
Well, that's the Orioles' theory. 0-2. If you can strike them out on 3 pitches, go for it. High fly to center. Umbre waiting for it to come down. Stanhouse, 1, 2, 3. Last of the 10th inning here in Baltimore. The Orioles bring up the lower third to Sensei, Dower, and Dempsey.
Chrysler announces the truck and van rebate countdown. Get a Plymouth Trail Duster, Dodge van, Ram Charger, or a full-size pickup and get a $400 check to go with it. But put it in gear. The countdown is on. Chrysler is giving dealers the biggest cash incentives in Chrysler's history. Big discounts they can pass on to you. But hurry, the countdown is on. Get a great deal and a $400 check. The countdown is on.
Come on, honey, yeah. Don't move it, girl. Hey.
Say, babe, did you know B.F. Goodrich has the best-selling line of high-performance radios?
No kidding.
You know they're the most dependable radios Goodrich ever made?
No kidding.
You know the Goodrich blimp is over the stadium?
No kidding. Oh, girl! Goodrich doesn't have a blimp.
No kidding.
We're the other guys. B.F. Goodrich, the leader in high-performance radios.
On Sports World, China's top female gymnasts challenge an international field, including American Olympic hopeful Sandy Worth in China Invitational Gymnastics Saturday.
Well, turnabout is fair play. Joe and Tony and Don kept us up watching those extra innings, so we're turning around and let you have some extra fare from Baltimore tonight as Bert Campaneris comes in, the veteran to play shortstop. Angels hitting for Anderson in the top half of the inning. For the Orioles, 3D in the bottom of the 10th. With Sensei, then Dower and Dempsey. The last run was back in the 6th inning when the Angels got a single from Carew and a double by Grich to tie it. 3 runs, 7 hits for the Angels, 3 runs, 4 hits for the Orioles. John Montague in relief of Nolan Ryan. Base hit. Now there with a third baseman guarding the line, it opened the hole for the Sensei.
You're right. In that case, it hurt. And sometimes this will happen. You guard against that extra base hit and you open up a little hole between short and third or first and second, and that's right where he hit it.
Now this man can handle a bat. Weaver couldn't have a better man up there. Pretty good bunter, and he's an excellent hit and run man. We'll see how Weaver plays it. Jim Fry, the first base coach, telling to Sensei, hey, don't get picked off. Angels looking for the bunt. Ball 1. Dower, a single in 3 at-bats. Good bunt. Carew makes the play, and the winning run is in scoring position as Dower gets a hand.
When you make a bunt this good, there's just not too much you can do about it. Carew, I think, waits just for a moment to see if that ball might roll foul. Sees it won't. All he can do is tag the man.
Earl Weaver goes to his bench. Terry Crowley, veteran left-handed hitter, will bat for catcher Rick Dempsey. So far, here in the 10th inning, Sparky, this is an Earl Weaver page in his book on manufacturing a run. Lead-off hit, bunt him to second. Hope you pull the right switch and get that pinch hitter up to win it for you.
Well, Dick, that's Baltimore baseball. That's the way they play. They're going to move the people along, and you notice they execute, and they always seem to do it. You would think somewhere west they'd fail, but they always seem to execute.
Didn't Crowley play for you in Cincinnati?
Crowley was with us over in Cincinnati. He's an extremely good high fastball hitter, and that's the reason he's sending up there, although Montague is a sinker ball pitcher, but he's just hoping he'll make a mistake and get the ball up on him.
Crowley is 0 for 5 against the Angels this year. He's just primarily used as a pinch hitter. Now first base open, and Jim Fregosi has a choice here too. You put a man at first that gives you the force and a possible double play.
Well, the thing he's worried about too, though, is Plumber. He can't double Plumber.
Too fast.
Too fast.
High fly to center field. And Miller collects the second out. Brings up Al Bumbry.
I guess Sparky, what he could do now if he wanted to is walk Bunbury and pitch to Belanger.
Well, Wes, I'll tell you what Jimmy was thinking also. If he walked Crowley, he was going to have to face Bunbury. He didn't think he could double him. Plus, he knew that they then would pinch hit for Belanger. He's got Lowenstein over there. Don't worry, there's no way that Belanger was going to hit if they walked Crowley.
That's John Lowenstein, who's been bothered by a sprained ankle, but that doesn't affect his swing that much, and he'd be ready to... Now they're going to walk Bunbury, and we're liable to see Lowenstein. Bunbury hitting .285. They don't want to give him a chance. He's 0 for 4 tonight. Lined out hard to left field off Montague in the 8th inning. Remember a situation like this in Oakland, California. Reds against the Oakland A's. Johnny Bench had a 3-2 count on him, and Dick Williams went to the mound and made all the motion, put him on, and then rolling fingers slipped the slider on the outside corner to strike him out. You remember that?
I remember it clearly, Dick, and I don't blame John because Dick Williams really it was a tremendous play. They must have worked on it, and I didn't blame John one bit because it surprised everybody.
Here comes Lowenstein. He is one of the many Southern California athletes on this Baltimore team. Went to the University of California, Riverside. Anthropology major, as I recall. Now makes his home in Las Vegas. Well, he's up there with a game on the line.
He's never been a regular, Dick. He started with the Cleveland Indians. He played 7 years with them, one with Texas before coming over to Baltimore. This is his first year here. Best season he ever had, he had .292 in 1973, but he's only played over 100 games once. So he's been a man who's used to coming off the bench throughout his career.
11 home runs. He's showing, as he's aged, increasing power, but he only wants is a line drive single. Talk about the Angel outfield arms. Harlow and Miller are regarded as less than average, and Ford an average arm. So a ball hit, unless it's hit on one bounce to the outfield, that runner should be able to score.
Now Bobby Grich just went over and talked to Rod Carew, probably to tell him where to play Lowenstein.
Boy, drove that right in on the knuckles.
Dick, I think one thing this shows, too, that Earl does have more bench strength. He's able to do things. He's got those two left-handed hitters. He's got Crowley and Lowenstein. He's got Reineke over there if they make a change. And that's the one disadvantage Jimmy has without having Rudy and Akins. It just makes it so tough on him.
Weaver's in retreat. We can't find him in the dugout.
He's down in the runway waiting for the yell. If he hears a scream, he'll come popping out.
Out of play as Montague took a little off that one, and it's 0-2. Lowenstein talked with him yesterday and said, how's it feel to be in the playoffs? He said, boy, this is a team. This isn't just a ball club. I'm on a team. And you could just see how up he was about this opportunity. Hit well. Back. Home run. Lowenstein, a home run. And the Orioles win it 6-3. Told you he has increasing power. 2 strikes, hit one just there. It looked as if it went in the first row, and the Orioles win game 1, 6-3. the fans don't want to go home.
Big, big win for the Birds. Oh, what a big win, Dick. We talked about how hard it is. The pitchers would not let you pull a ball here to hit it out. We went with an outside pitch. And to win the first game this dramatically, it's got to be a real shot in the arm for Baltimore.
John Lowenstein, 11 home runs this year, has just struck the biggest blow of his major league life to give the Orioles a dramatic 10th inning win. The crippled Angels, without the bench of the Orioles, fall to defeat after taking the early lead.
Promotional fee has been paid to NBC by United Airlines. United's building the largest airline in the world around you. Fly the friendly skies.
Baltimore wins the opener. We'll be back with you tomorrow afternoon at 3 o'clock Eastern Time. For Wes Parker and Sparky Anderson, Dick Enberg, good night from noisy Baltimore. Game 1 of the American League Championship was brought to you by Chrysler Corporation. See the mileage makers at your Dodge or Chrysler Plymouth dealers. By Lowenbrow. When you want the taste of a truly great American beer, there's really only one. Tonight, let it be Lowenbrow. By Goodrich, we're the other guys, the leader in high-performance radios. And by Polaroid, inventors of the SX70 sonar, the world's smartest camera. Remember, tomorrow afternoon, 3 o'clock Eastern Time, the Angels and the Orioles. Game 2 of the American League Championships, and John Lowenstein comes out for his second encore. And don't forget National League, Game 3, Friday, Pittsburgh, Cincinnati, 3 o'clock Eastern Time. More great baseball action here on NBC Sports, now recognized as the leader in sports television. The final in Baltimore, 6-3 Orioles.
It's an island paradise, but the children are dying.
I've lost 31 babies.
And only Quincy can save them. Thursday, right after Buck Rogers.